Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
This is why you have to protect your marriage, because people can be that bold.
He's kept the principles the same without changing to what today's economy looks like.
When you actually help someone, you see the difference that you've made in their life.
What's going on online is at least a small indication of the heart of the culture.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
You and I are caught between two desires. Chris Fabry here, inviting you to join me for the next Chris Fabry Live. We have wants in our lives. We want to be happy and healthy and secure and comfortable and a lot of other things. But God is not as committed to our wants as He is our needs. If you're struggling with the chasm between your want and your need, join us at the Radio Backyard Fence.
Have a little chat with Chris Fabry Live, Monday through Friday afternoons at 3.
Serving Erie, Huron, and Lake counties and beyond. This is Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVME Meadville, WVMN Newcastle, WVMU Ashtabula, or stream us anywhere with the Moody Radio app, other streaming services, and at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
A second flight of American citizens has landed safely in the United States after fleeing Haiti. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. Yesterday, a flight evacuating 80 Americans arrived in Miami. The State Department has encouraged all U.S. citizens to leave Haiti as political unrest and gang violence escalates. Health officials are keeping a close eye on a suspected tuberculosis case in Ashtabula County. Ashtabula County Health Commissioner Jay Becker says the suspected case was found at Geneva Middle School, but says the case has not been confirmed. And a South Euclid Lyndhurst School's employee is facing charges after allegedly stealing from a fundraiser. Police say Stacy LaRiccia, who is a secretary at Brush High School, has been taken into custody after she allegedly stole from a fundraiser which supported Michael Fording, a former principal at Brush High School who died last November from cancer. I'll be right back with sports and weather.
Attention all high school students and parents. We invite you to visit Moody's campus in the heart of downtown Chicago, in person or virtually. Experience life as a Moody student by scheduling an individual visit to campus with your family. We are excited to welcome you to learn more about whether Moody is right for you and your student. Meet with an admissions counselor and sit in on class in person or through Zoom. Schedule your campus visit today at moody.edu/experience-moody.
In sports, a major upset highlighted day one of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Number 3 Kentucky was stunned by 14th seed Oakland, 80-76 in the South region. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Mostly cloudy with a chance of rain showers this afternoon. Not as cool as our high temperature climbs up into the mid-40s. And at last check, we did have cloudy skies and 27 degrees in Cleveland. Akron and Canton clear and 23. Youngstown checking in also clear skies and 23 degrees.
It's time for your moron moment.
Think the photo you found online of Joe Biden and Donald Trump hugging it out is AI generated? Find out for sure with free tools like AI or Not and Maybe's AI Art Detector. Drag and drop, upload, or paste an image URL into the search bar and they will tell you whether or not it's legit. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 6:03 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Devine studio, it's Mornings with Brian. Want to join the conversation? Call or text now at 440-546-2255.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Ryan Ellis on Moody Radio Cleveland. Good morning. It's 6:07 on a follow-up Friday, and you're probably thinking, why isn't Brian talking? Well, we've got a big reveal planned here in just a moment. You know, on Follow-Up Fridays, we always have a guest voice come in, and Jaime Buxton of the City Mission is our guest today. Good morning, Jaime.
Good morning.
Now,
Yay.
You have yet to see the clean-shaven
I know.
Brian
I'm
Dahlman.
very anxious.
It's going to be shocking.
Check out the live stream today. We shaved Brian yesterday. You don't want to miss this.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I had my head shaved, or 1/3 of my head.
That's
as
right.
Our station manager,
You
Josh,
guys are
pointed out.
terrible.
I didn't say it.
And last night at work, only 2 people noticed a difference.
Oh.
I tend to keep my hair kind of short anyway, and at UPS, a lot of us are older guys, and we've gone through various stages of hair, so it was no big deal, you know. But I
What did
felt
Dana
the
say?
cold. She liked it.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's what matters, Ron.
Right. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
But we do have to reveal Brian. He's
Yeah, he's
hiding
behind
behind a
me.
black curtain right now.
Because he's
He's
going to
being
reveal
so
himself
creepy
to Jamie.
behind
I
me.
know. You can come out, Brian. Here he comes.
Woo! I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't scream.
I won't scream.
You ready?
Yes. Oh my
There he
goodness! Smile. Let me see your teeth. That was what I was excited. I was like, we're going to see Brian's teeth today.
She was excited that my lips exist.
Yeah.
That's her biggest.
I don't think I've seen him before.
I think you look really nice.
So you have to say that.
No, I don't. I don't have to say anything. They don't pay me. I like your hair. Did you get a different haircut
I had to
too?
go get a haircut, like right away. I'm coming around here to match.
So it
So
matched.
you're not scruffy
Yeah,
in
so it
general.
matched.
Oh,
You're,
you can't hear me.
Yeah,
you
so,
look trendy.
whoa.
Ron, did you record that? I hope you recorded that.
Oh, of course I recorded it.
Yeah.
I look trendy.
Yeah,
And
you
now
look
I've marked
trendy.
Oh, great.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, great, Jamie. What have you done?
I actually went. I called my barber on the way back. Main Street Barbershop in Garrettsville. That guy's awesome. Chris is the man. I was like, "You don't have any openings today, do you? I got to get in there." And he had one, and so I went in, and he kind of double taked in me, looking at me, and then he started laughing.
Because you told him in advance, right?
I told him in advance it was going to happen, and he didn't recognize me at first. And then he's like, "How you doing?" I go, "Not good." He just started laughing. Ha ha ha.
It was a little traumatic, huh, friend?
But
Ron's going off on the laughs this morning. Is anyone noticing?
we have your laugh too.
Yeah, we do.
Where's it?
It's so cute.
Yeah, well, I needed to do something different with my hair. He goes, "Looks like you should be selling me insurance or maybe stocks." I was like,
I don't think so. I
Great.
think you should be a barista.
Welcome
And not
to-
at like Starbucks, like a really cool,
Like a cool
like
one.
Like a
no
legit
name.
barista.
Yes. Where
What
you
would-
wait 30 minutes for your coffee because so many cool cats are there.
Welcome to No Name Coffee Shop.
Yeah, look at you.
Would you like a latte?
I'm going to get you an apron.
No, I don't want an apron.
Chris said, Brian looks 30.
Yeah, I've been told I look
That's
a lot
nice.
younger. I'm trying to, let me see if there's a way I can show you. I just got my brand new ID in the mail because my license expired on my birthday. Yeah, I can cover it. Nobody needs to know all my details.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's the photo. I'll show it to everybody on the live stream here in just a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think
You were like David Crowder-esque.
Nice
I don't
comparison.
think like if I get pulled over,
They will throw you in jail.
it's like you have a fake ID. Put
Oh,
your
that's
hands
not
behind your
true.
back. It doesn't
You
look
look
anything
like
like
this.
me.
You are the same human. I think you look trendier. What did Sarah say?
The whole family. We have a video actually.
I'm going to post it later.
Yeah, I intentionally asked all the kids in advance if I could take a video of their reaction, and they said yes. And so at various points of the afternoon, when they all start showing up, I took video of their reactions. And the little boys have never seen me without a beard. Never. They have no memory.
Yeah.
And so they were various levels of startled. Two of the five kids were like, "No, stop." Like as if somehow I could stop
Like
it.
put it back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that back now. My oldest daughter, she shared with some of her friends the new look, and they thought we were twins in a sense.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't see it. But whatever. Actually, Lauren said she was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I did.
Believe it or not. And if you're, by the way, we're not going to talk about this all morning. It's just
right now.
It's just so new.
It's just a thing.
I got to get used to a new friend.
Well,
Exactly.
No, don't get used to it because this friend will not be around for long. As quickly as I can get supplements in there, throw it down the gullet, and get this thing going, I'm in. Yeah.
Are there things you can take, herbs you can take to make you're going to take, what do ladies take? We use horse shampoo to thicken our hair
the
and
horse
stuff.
shampoo, yeah.
And
Really?
prenatal vitamins. There you go, Brian.
Wait,
I can bring you some of those.
wait. Women use horse shampoo?
That used
It's
to
called
be a thing.
it's called mane and tail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
To thicken up their hair. 100%.
You go to the
I'll
vet?
pull it up. Let me show you. No, you don't go to the vet.
I know what mane and tail is. We have mane and tail for my donkey. Ron, are you aware of this?
I'd never heard that
Is
before.
this a woman's secret?
I mean, my mom never let me do it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, women do use it. I've seen it in showers before.
I don't know what I'd do if I got in the shower and there was like, are we bringing the donkey in here? Is that what
Well,
we're doing?
hey, maybe you scrub your cheeks.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
I've heard of raw egg. You got plenty of those.
A raw egg.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Wow. Okay. I do know that there were, I couldn't believe this. I had talked to Pastor Scott Lessing from Lorraine Correctional and Grace Church. I called him, or I texted him. I said, you've got to call me and tell me how things went in the prison because they were live streaming in the chapel.
I love it.
And he was like, he started laughing when he called me. He said there were over 30 guys in the chapel. And so they started laughing hysterically and they were pointing and they were yelling, look at, he's got a baloney face.
A baloney face.
And the guys,
So rude.
the guys listening now are going to laugh because they're like, yeah, he does have a baloney face. Scott leans over to a guy next to him, a guy we met when we went in named Sean, and he's like, bro, what's a baloney face? Essentially baby face.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't have any blemishes.
I was so worried about that. I was like, are there open wounds? Are there giant zits? Oh, no.
Oh,
It's like
fine.
cold. I go outside and my face feels cold. It's terrible.
Welcome to the world we live.
All right, but don't get used to it. In fact, if you're having trouble on live stream, just avert your eyes. Look at the lovely ladies around me and Ron, and you just close your eyes. Okay, it's 6:15, time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll start reviewing the week's topics. It is Follow-Up Friday, and then, oh boy, we are 45 minutes away from something I'm very much looking forward to. The lovely and talented Daria Swisher will be performing and dancing.
No dancing.
Full body karaoke, I believe, is what we were going to get. Is that right?
I mean, I use my arms to play my guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, close.
That's close.
Did we decide on which piece we're playing, or two, or?
We can talk about that off air.
Oh boy, okay.
Oh, geez.
Woo, it's going to be great. Okay, we'll get to all this and more in just a minute.
Prayer works. How much does the Bible mean to you? Are you grateful for God's Word? Here's a prayer to consider by the late author and theologian, Dr. Warren Wiersbe.
Gracious Father, we realize that only that word that we practice is truly ours. We're thankful for a book that is infallible. We're thankful for a book that we can read that gives us truth. We're thankful that as believers we don't have to search for truth, we have truth. We're thankful that every word of the Word of God is inspired by the Holy Spirit. Now, Father, help us to love the Word more and live the Word more. For Jesus' sake, amen.
To learn more about prayers of gratitude, visit moodyradio.org/prayer.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
Without Trinity support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free. free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
When he finished that song, Danny Goki, it sounds like, and his mane and tail. I can't get it out of my head. Mane and tail. Melissa texted us and said that she used mane and tail.
I definitely used mane and tail, and it does work, and it smells good.
See?
I use a biotin shampoo because I'm in the great shed after having a baby, so.
No, see, that all sounds fine, but Ron and I were totally uninformed. Ron, how many years you been on the earth?
On the earth?
Yes.
Since the dinosaurs.
Yeah. 2,562 and a half.
This man's lived 62 and a half years and never heard that women are using horse shampoo.
They are.
I'm disoriented.
I'm tempted to start it when mine grows back in.
I could just go out in the barn and get some, but I'm not sure I want to. Anyway, by the way, I don't know if you know this. The eclipse is coming.
Yes.
I do know.
The city of Cuyahoga Falls has been very clear with its residents.
Yes, they have.
There's 4 warnings, but there's one very top one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't remember.
You live there.
I know, but I have to look it up.
Well, I mean, it's the most ridiculous one.
Don't wear your glasses while you're driving.
Yeah.
Your eclipse glasses,
Oh.
which
I was
render you
like-
essentially
I'm like,
blind.
oh no, I have to wear my glasses. How will I get places?
No, like eclipse glasses.
Don't wear them while you're driving.
Yeah, because you can't. Here, try them on. You can't see anything.
Yeah, we've
I mean,
got 'em
I've
here.
got some, but I haven't tried them on yet.
Let's see how Jamie feels.
Unless you're staring at the light.
I'm
you
gonna
can't
be
see
this
it.
girl who has to do it over her glasses.
Well, I'm that guy.
Oh, wow. You really. Do you want to know a secret?
Yes.
In 6th grade,
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
I'm scared.
during the eclipse,
It was a partial or something, right?
I mean, I went to a very small Catholic school and we
Okay.
were warned severely on how to behave during the eclipse. And we had boxes and all of the things, and you were supposed to look at the shadows on the ground.
Right.
Yep.
And I brought a mirror, guys.
Oh.
I brought a mirror and I looked right at the sun through.
No wonder you wear glasses now.
I know.
You naughty, naughty girl.
I was a bad little girl.
Did your mother know this?
Of course not. She's
Now
probably
she
hearing it
does.
for the first time right now. It's like it's not the most disobedient thing I've ever
Yeah,
done, but
no,
it
trust
was.
me. You've told me stories. That's nothing.
But I
That's
did.
kid logic. I'm not looking at the sun.
I'm looking at a mirror.
How old were you?
Burning 6th grade. I remember it. I remember exactly it. I could take you to the spot on the cement that I was standing when I did this.
Well, City of Cuyahoga Falls is now holding an emergency meeting to add to their list of warnings. Do not look at it with a mirror.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing a live broadcast at Hope Church in Brunswick on April 8th. We're going to be doing the morning show from there, and then at noon they start a big event from noon to 5. They got food trucks. They got all the whole thing. We're going to preempt Chris Fabry's show, and during the eclipse, we'll be doing a whole hour of programming. You can listen in
So fun.
with experts and all that jazz. It'll be great.
Basically, are we taking Chris and throwing him over the backyard fence?
Yeah, we are. We're going to slam him
Get
up
outta
against the
here.
fence and then lift him over. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to work on our adjectives about what it could look like. So we're not like, ooh, it's so round and dark.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get our thesaurus.
Yeah, it's so sunny, but not.
It's not. Ooh, it's cold.
Okay, so you want more information? Text MOON to 440-546-2255, 440-546-2255. Let's start reviewing some of the topics. I know I have some I want to pick Jamie's brain on, but maybe you have something you want us to discuss. If you've got it, you can call or text 440-546-2255, 440-546-2255. So I've got my big stack of stories, and then we had a couple that really hit it, but we tried to find out how often you should be answering your clothes. Or, sorry.
Answering?
Are your clothes speaking to you?
Washing.
Well, if you're in my house, I'm like, are you towel? Are you clean? No. Yeah. Washing.
I heard this segment,
The
and
title
I'm
has
happy
the word answer in it.
to chime in on this.
Oh, good.
I got a little feisty listening to you all.
Okay, good. We're going to go back to that in just a minute. Also, Robert Downey Jr.'s acceptance speech, that was pretty compelling. His opening words were, "I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy," in that order.
I missed this.
Yeah, and we chatted about how he really did have a terrible childhood. He first tried drugs at like age 8 because his dad gave it to him.
Yep.
And he's come to a point where he's grateful for it. Like he can see how it made him the person he is today. And we talked about kind of how you got to, as a follower of Christ, you got to take God's invitation to learn from pain. Somebody pays their kids to get dressed and get going for school. Oh boy, did you see that face?
Yes, we must discuss that.
Because we also, if you're an astute listener, I wonder whether the Buxton boys, there's 4 of them,
There's 4.
had to put their own toothpaste on their toothbrushes this morning.
I knew you were going to go there as soon as you said that. No, they don't have to do that this morning because their mom did it for them.
So we're offended by paying.
But I do put their toothpaste on their toothbrushes. Listen.
We'll get back to that.
Yes.
I'm going to make you sit there and wait with it. There's two types of airport people. And what we found out from The Atlantic is there's actually human beings that want to be running late. They want to be running through the airport.
Wow.
And it seemed fictitious. Like this journalist interviewed people who are like this. Like one of them wants to arrive 20 minutes before takeoff, before boarding at the airport. And then I thought it wouldn't be anyone I know. Dan Fleming, our good friend from Chicago, he works at the Moody Bible Institute. He texted me like, I'm that man.
Yeah, I know. I've traveled with him for many years.
I thought he was nice.
And our boss, so there was me in the middle. Our boss was, I want to get there 2 hours in advance for a domestic flight. So it'd be like, well, we have our boss saying we need to leave at 6 a.m. And Dan's like, no, we're not leaving until 8 a.m. And then here I am.
Did she just have a heart attack every time?
No, we just had to give in to what she wanted. She's the boss.
Oh, he had to show up?
Yeah, he had to show up.
Or he got his own ride.
If like when we would go to the Chicago O'Hare Airport separately from our houses, so he would always be the last one there.
I don't know why someone would enjoy that. Dan, get it together. And whoever you are that's listening, because I know you know who you are, you enjoy showing up late to the airport.
No.
You're not cool. You are a bad
But also,
person.
Dan has pre-check, so he can't say anything. It's not as stressful when you have pre-check.
Ah.
Dan, you're wrong.
And is Dan a runner?
Yes.
So he's one of those guys like the old O.J. Simpson commercial. Go, O.J., go, as he's running and hurtling over
I'm sorry, I
suitcases.
do not have any reference to that commercial.
Yeah, like,
honestly, is it that old?
I don't know it either.
The rest of us know him for the White Bronco, not the running in the commercial.
Yeah. Oh, it was
Different kind of
decades before the
Yeah.
White Bronco.
I thought they were making reference to the white Bronco, like he's fast.
He wasn't fast in that. That's the thing.
I know.
Yeah.
It was a rental car commercial, right?
Yeah, Hertz, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. It was after his football playing days, which even if that was today, you wouldn't know that reference. But yeah, he'd been a football star, and then he was a commercial star for a while.
And then
he was a
judicial star.
Murdered people and just kind of keeps going from
If
there.
the glove doesn't fit,
You must
quit.
Listen, I'm not going to go live on this for too long, but I very much believed that OJ was innocent, and my entire room was decorated with newspaper
posters?
clippings.
Oh boy.
Free OJ.
On the day that the verdict came out, my poor parents, in hindsight now, my poor parents, I wrote OJ, free the juice on our,
Yes.
like the entirety of our driveway.
On your driveway? You were in high school at that time.
Yes.
Oh, that is so weird.
And I
Free
came
the
home
juice?
from school every day and watched the trial at my neighbor's house.
It's
with
like
her.
me with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Yes, that's
Oh,
exactly
no.
it. Free
I
the
watch it
juice.
every day.
So you
Now,
saw
I no
the
longer believe that was true, but I was convinced.
what did it for you?
There was just too much evidence against him, Brian. There was too much.
It was the glove. You were like, look at him.
It doesn't fit. You must acquit.
He's wearing a latex glove under it, and somehow it doesn't fit. We don't know
Maybe
why.
this is why I still like the Kardashians. See? It's
Oh,
all tied
no.
together. I'm taking the show to a terrible level today.
I've never understood
That would be me and Jamie's
gloves are one
podcast
size
just
fits all.
talking about this.
Free the juice.
Is
telling
he
you,
Khloe
let's call my mom.
Kardashian's dad? I don't know.
Oh, that's right. That is a thing.
Yeah.
He is. Poor
Wow.
Chloe.
There's other topics
Said
to
he
review.
is. He is.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That's it.
I'm Cindy Farini, and this is Pause for Prayer. Anyone who has a chronic pain or bouts of reoccurring injuries or illness which result in pain, take comfort in prescription or over-the-counter medicines that soothe or quiet the pain. Well, relief from constant and reoccurring deep pain is welcomed and many times very needed. But as I began to think about a few thoughts, it occurred to me that we as a culture don't want to be inconvenienced by even the smallest of pains. We want instant relief from the tension headache that was caused by the stress we allowed into our lives. We want instant relief from the general aches and pains that we, in some other way, might have easily prevented with a well-balanced lifestyle and a conscious effort to maintain that balance. Then there's the pain that's not so easy to see, and that is the emotional pain that some suffer for various reasons. Let's pause for prayer. Lord, we are a hurting people, but being loved and healed by you are ways that we know that you care for us and can give us hope. We can come to you as the healer in all areas of our life. We thank you that you are the ultimate healer, and we pray for those that we know that are in pain today, that they would know you and find relief from you in mind, soul, and body. Please comfort each of us in a way that we would understand the relief from that pain and suffering came from you. We pray that we would rely upon you to meet every need. We thank you that you have given scientists, researchers, and doctors ways to treat us through medicines, therapies, exercising, counseling, and more, but we pray that our ultimate dependence would be on you in every and all situation. Let us not depend upon ourselves, but come to you, Jesus, for direction on healing our bodies and minds and souls. We yearn to learn, and we seek your direction. We see your will and your ways. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. And maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. See what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-58-BIBLE. That's 877-58-BIBLE. 877-58-BIBLE.
Get out of the sheets and into the streets. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
638 WCRF, Mornings with Brian. Don't forget, there's a big contest running right now. You could win this enormous pile of things, basically a free vacation. Well, what?
It is a pile of things, but that's
Doesn't
not
sound
very.
good.
I was going to say,
Not
maybe
appealing.
Good marketing.
talk about it a little bit there,
I want a
Brian.
pile of
I have the
things.
notes.
Would you like an enormous pile of things?
Yes,
I also
please.
have it listed in front of you on
I
our
was going to say,
webpage.
even I can tell you what it is.
Go ahead.
Would you love to win for King and Country Flyaway?
Look at you go.
Flyaway date? Oh, this is not this. It's in April. Only one grand prize winner for the Unsung Hero Weekend with For King and Country.
We'll receive.
Round trip airfare to Nashville.
For two.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, where's the bell or something? Come on, give me something. They don't give me any of the toys. Attend an advanced screening of the movie Unsung Hero.
You skipped.
Hotel accommodations for after the movie, before the movie. Who knows
How
when
many
it'll be?
nights?
How many nights? Yeah.
2 nights.
It's not as easy to be me as you thought, is it?
Well, I probably would have pre-read this if I thought I was going to be you.
Brian doesn't pre-read it.
No, he doesn't.
There's even $250 in spending money.
You get to go to a podcast recording, you go to a private concert with For King and Country, and you get an advanced screening of the movie Unsung Hero.
And a meet and
Text
greet.
fly to 440-546-2255.
We don't need you anymore, Brian.
Yeah, well,
Mornings
She-
with Jamie.
she missed about 3/4 of the details, but that's fine.
I got nervous.
Okay, so we're reviewing the week's topics on a follow-up Friday, and we'll revisit a few. But if you want to jump in, of course, with anything you'd like to discuss, whether it's a new topic or not, 440-546-2255, 440-546-2255. Did somebody just text in a crocheted beard
Yes,
I
they
could
did.
wear from eBay or Etsy?
Etsy.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I actually looked at these for my babies a long time ago.
They do get cold chins.
Look how cute the whole hat and beard is.
Let's just be honest. I'd wear that. I would wear it.
Okay.
Okay. A couple of other topics to look through before we put Jamie in the hot seat or you. 6 challenging stages in a couple's life cycle.
Oh.
That there's 6 challenging phases for a married couple. I thought there were like 3. There's 6. Did you know that?
No, I don't think you sent me the notes on this. I'm feeling underprepared.
Good.
That was my fault. That's not Brian's fault.
Oh, stop.
I'm going to
no,
blame
but it's
Brian,
true.
not you, Lauren.
The state of America's marriage. Oh, wait, no, that's not what. Tradwife. Tradwife movement. We talked all about the tradwife movement, but more specifically, defining femininity. As it seems as if it's not just masculinity that's become nebulous. Now you've got a whole bunch of Christian social media influencers trying to make women return to a time that never really existed, but it primarily involves artisanal sourdough dresses and children.
Yes.
Do you make sourdough?
I don't
Why not?
because I don't have time for that.
You just didn't have time to feed the starter.
Correct.
You were ready for it,
I
Daria.
don't have time. I barely have time to feed my kids.
By the way, about 20 minutes away from Daria and her live performance on
Yes.
the radio, thanks to you during Share, Daria Swisher will be singing and playing guitar for you right here on this radio station. Don't miss the live stream if you want to watch it too. She'll be looking at the camera.
Woohoo!
You look at the camera.
Yeah.
That was not a live woohoo.
I thought it was.
I love those.
Again, just text live to 440-546-2255. Also, we wondered whether we need to pivot in certain communities from church planting to other types of Christian ministry work. Because sometimes churches plant themselves in communities that already have churches. They might be a
A lot of
different
times.
race or culture, but they already have churches there. So there might be different needs. Maybe it's a Christian school. Maybe it's a affordable daycare, whatever it might be. And then the secret to well-being in life. Who has it? Toddlers, according to the New York Times. You're laughing because you're kind of like, yeah, they're living their best life.
They are living their best life.
I mean, at the end of the day, we thought that your son Trey had it all figured out.
He does.
He loves to laugh.
Yeah.
He loves ice cream.
Yeah. Every day he asks for ice cream.
Almost every time you send us audio of your Trey saying something cute,
Something's
it
about ice
finishes
cream.
with, Mommy, we should get ice cream.
Yep. Anytime we have people over, what should we do? We should go to the ice cream shop.
I agree.
I feel like you must give in a lot if he asks a lot.
We've only been twice here.
He remembers.
But how often do you have it at home?
Oh, he has ice cream often at home.
I love it.
Oatly ice cream, of course, because he's allergic to dairy.
She's avoiding the question. How often?
That's his
Often.
choice.
She said
He gets
often.
to choose his dinner treat, and most of the time, it's one little tiny scoop of ice cream.
I wouldn't judge you. You're a good mom. You could give him ice cream after every meal if you wanted, and I'd be happy
it's
for
just
you.
sometimes he chooses a gluten-free Oreo, and sometimes it's ice cream.
What a sweet boy.
His choice.
All right, let's back up to you were angry at the radio, angry with our team. You had thoughts and feelings about how often someone ought to wash their clothing.
Yeah. I wasn't that angry. I was just like, oh, I wish I was there right now.
Like I have this is more where you were all disgusted with me primarily. In college, my theory was with a bath towel, I'm clean when I use it, therefore I don't have to really wash it more than once a semester. It got pretty stiff towards the end of the semester, but it smelled fine. I
really doubt that it smelled fine.
It did. Sarah dated me in college.
Did she smell your towels?
I don't think so.
Okay,
That'd
then.
be weird.
I remember very vividly that Sean and I dated long distance, but I came home for graduation and I started to help clean up his apartment with his family, and his mom was like, you should go. Because it was so disgusting. She was like, you should not be part of this.
Was she right?
Yeah. Well, I left. But yes, hearing the stories, yes. Never cleaning the shower even once for the entire year.
Well, yeah, you're cleaning there.
Brian.
I lived with 5 other guys in a house. Sarah wouldn't even go inside.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
There was no cleaning that ever happened.
When Eddie lived with a bunch of guys, it was a scary place in there.
Yeah. But you
I was
still
like,
dated
"Oh,
Eddie.
thanks for having me."
He managed to stay clean in there somehow.
Yeah, he's just a really clean person. His mom really instilled that in him, so.
Sarah would stand outside. There were no cell phones really then. She would just yell, I'm here. And she wouldn't come in. It was pretty gross in there.
So what are your thoughts about that, Jamie?
I agreed with a lot of the things that were said, although the washing of jeans, I think you can go longer.
How long do you go for a pair of jeans?
Honestly, I have no idea because I don't wear the same ones all the time.
Yeah, so
I have
you're rotating.
3 pairs, so they're rotated.
So you're not even keeping track?
No, it's definitely more than 4 or 5 times.
Well, I've been told the creator of Levi's jeans never washed his.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
Although I think it was a better kind of denim.
It was
back
real
then.
for real denim.
Yeah.
Cowboy denim.
I'm going to wear jeans for a week before I wash them.
Sean goes 1 or 2, and he wears the same one. He has work jeans and then fun jeans. That was the
chemist jeans.
His chemist jeans.
Sean also has comfy jeans. I don't get it. Has
He has
men
home
ever heard of
jeans?
They get too hot for Sean.
They
He's not a
make-
sweatpants wearer.
Well, they make thinner ones.
Yeah, he does have a couple pair. I will buy some cute things, but he'd rather just put on shorts, athletic shorts.
Oh, good
that's
man.
fair.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
But I do immediately change my clothes
as soon as I'm home. Kids,
in
wait.
fact, in college, I was embarrassing because I had Twinkie pajama pants. And after class, because back then at Mount Vernon Nazarene University, when it was a college,
Go Cougars.
there was a dress code. You couldn't wear PJs to school to class.
We had that too.
And so the Twinkie pants came out after 4 p.m. So no matter what I was wearing, I could be wearing a sweater vest and a button-up cute shirt, like a Clueless era kind of outfit.
Yep.
With my Twinkie pants to dinner.
I did the same thing with my paint-stained sweatpants.
You two would have been best friends in college.
I'm sure we would have.
She was known on campus as Sweatpants
No,
Girl.
not known on campus. Just the one person called me that.
I think it changes every time I hear it.
No, just the one person. Eddie.
At Moody Bible
Before he knew me.
At Moody Bible Institute, she was Sweatpants Girl.
Well, if he's referring to you as Sweatpants Girl, I'm sure there were other people that called you
probably his
Sweatpants Girl.
friends.
Like he would say, "Hey guys, I saw Sweatpants Girl."
Losers.
They'd go, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, they probably did.
Your mother, as I recall, called your roommate and asked your roommate to throw out said sweatpants.
Yes, she really didn't like them.
That's hilarious.
And my roommate was like, "Oh, she loves those. I'm not doing that."
Yeah. See, we would have been best friends. So I get
Immediately. Class is over, sweatpants.
Twinkie pants.
You two are best friends forever. All right. hang on to your Twinkie pants. We've got to take a quick break here. Coming up in just a minute, we'll continue Follow-Up Friday, 440-546-2255.
Making assumptions is rarely a good idea. That's true when it comes to thinking healthcare costs can't be affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries has been helping believers meet their healthcare needs for over 40 years. It's not insurance, it's a ministry. Visiting chministries.org/Moody eliminates assumptions and shows how this unique model has worked to meet the healthcare needs of hundreds of thousands of Christians. Get more information and have your questions answered at chministries.org/Moody.
Moody Radio is thankful for the support from our listeners and Bridgeway Homeschool Academy, proud to provide 30 years of flexible curriculum programs and one-on-one support for homeschoolers. Learn more about textbook, online, and live online homeschool classes at bridgewayacademy.com.
This is David Harms with the ministry India Partners, and I have walked through the red light districts of Mumbai, India numerous times, and trust me, it is dark. Young girls have no joy in their eyes because they feel they have no future, and they'll be stuck in the trade for the rest of their lives. But once they get into a safe house run by India Partners, well, just listen.
When you don't move the mountains, I'm leading you to move. When you don't calm the waters, I wish I could walk through.
That is God at work, which is why for the last year we've shared powerful stories of safety, rescue, and care happening through the India Partner Safe Houses. These girls are safe from harm, well cared for, and introduced to the transforming and healing love of Jesus. Learn more about the power of rescue and care in a safe house at indiapartners.org/Moody.
Good morning, Cleveland. Thanks for choosing us to help you start your day. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
6:53 WCRF Mornings with Brian. Don't forget to go to the live stream. Text live to 440-546-2255. The lovely and talented Daria Swisher will be performing live with her guitar. She's going to sing and play guitar. There'll be tap dancing, twirling, ribbons.
How many things do you want me to do at the same time, Brian?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's two things.
Technically 4.
Oh, because of the live stream,
and the microphones and all the stuff.
But you're going to be singing and playing guitar.
I will.
That's 2.
And this was part of Share. She said for a donation of, I think it was $2,000, you would do that. And somebody specifically gave $2,000 for that.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. We're very excited. We've never seen this. We've never heard it. We're going to experience it with you.
It's going to be great.
Everyone's like, oh, you're going to be great. Literally, I think Josh is the only person in this building that has heard me play, and that's just because he saw a video I put on Facebook one time. So I could be crap and none of you know.
You're going to be great. You're going to be great. Trust me. Okay. So one of the ones I want to chit-chat about here before the newscast and getting to Daria's stardom, Usher may be watching. And he discovered Justin Bieber.
Yes.
He may be discovering Daria.
Or Justin Bieber is watching and he'll discover her on behalf of Usher. Yeah.
Yeah. We should have you sign a contract quick to commit to the show for another 10 years before.
Get Nathan on the phone.
And we should. Attorney Nathan Zion Esquire. Now, I'd like to know your thoughts, Jamie, about the quick story we talked about with Robert Downey Jr., where he went up on stage after he's been in, by the way, 82 movies spanning 50 years, and it's the first time he's won an Oscar.
Wow.
And he got it for Best Supporting Actor. Now, he should have gotten it for every depiction of Tony Stark.
Amen.
He should have gotten best actor.
Mm-hmm. Iron Man is way better than Captain America.
He's really just playing himself in all those movies, to be honest.
Exactly.
Easy job.
Well, he did it well, Daria. In fact, I wish he would have gotten it so much he'd say, excuse me, let someone else win now. But his first one was for Best Supporting Actor in Oppenheimer. Did you ever see Oppenheimer?
I didn't.
It's really good.
It's quite good. Again, it's not for children. You have to make decisions on your own, but I thought it handled a really complex topic very well.
I did too.
He's almost unrecognizable in the film.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And he plays a unique character, all the makeup and everything.
Yeah,
I thought he was great.
Got kind of like he puts on almost a speech impediment,
yes,
as well as an accent. It's really good.
But now he went up on stage to accept the award, and he said, "I'd like to thank my terrible childhood and the Academy in that order." And you kind of nodded when I said that before. I think one of the things we struggle with as believers is depicting the reality of Christian life, which Jesus made super clear. He's like, hey, if you're going to follow me, you're going to be persecuted.
Right.
Paul wrote letters from prison. Like, following Jesus is not an easy job. And even when Jesus talks about, the vine and the branches, he talks about producing fruit. And before producing fruit, I just did this with my grapevines at home. You prune them.
Right.
That's not fun to be pruned. But we walk around talking like following Jesus is going to be like, it's going to be like the Lego movie. Everything is awesome.
That's right.
Everything is cool. I'll stop. What's to what extent has this been a reality for you? Are you able to lean into your pain in some sense and accept it?
I think so. I mean, I think so. I would not say my pain has been the same as Robert Downey Jr.'s in any
You were not
stretch.
offered drugs by your mother at age 8? No. Yeah.
No, I didn't have some crazy traumatic childhood, but I do have the privilege of walking alongside people who do every day and not embracing that, but understanding that and seeing where they came from and moving on from that is a big part of what we do every day at the City Mission now.
Right.
They're not becoming movie stars necessarily, but they're moving on with life, and they can feel, I've seen men and women empowered over what has happened to them, and they can use that quote unquote power for good, and use it to propel themselves forward and help them make decisions about who they want to be and how they want to live their life. Right. And I think that's what he's saying here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what he's saying is, I can look back almost with gratitude for the terrible things that happened.
Yes.
And that's what makes this all the sweeter, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he meant by it. And your point about City Mission is so good because Linda Uvegas was here, CEO of City Mission, and she was chatting about how essentially the vast majority of people experiencing homelessness have experienced trauma.
Right.
And not like little T trauma, like big T trauma.
Big T.
Abuse, Homelessness itself
is trauma. Yeah.
But I would imagine if somebody can't accept in some measure what they've been through, they can't move forward
100%.
with that level of trauma.
Right. And that takes a long time, that takes a long time for people to understand, like, oh, this part of my story is maybe what's holding me back right now, or continues to cycle me back to this spot. And so, yeah, we talk about it all the time.
What about the rest of us, though, that haven't experienced necessarily big T trauma? I'm not going to ask any of you if you have. It's none of my business, especially on a public forum. But there's a lot of Christians, I think, who haven't experienced maybe a big T trauma. And so they still have trauma in life. Maybe their parents got divorced.
Right.
And they've never dealt with it. Maybe their child experienced some significant issues in their life. I don't know that we are compelled as much to have to become grateful for it at some point or to face it.
I think that's the bigger issue, which would take the whole rest of our time together, is why as Christians we have such a hard time with being transparent and actually talking about the things that are hard in life and doing life together and working through those things. Thank you to my pastor who just brought that up from the pulpit last week.
No, it's so true, though, Jamie. I mean, I've got the challenge, of course, when it's things your kids have been through in this kind of forum. As I've told people before, it's not my story to tell.
Right.
Like I had a neighbor 2 doors down. We've chatted about this before on the air. A couple I just love dearly, and their oldest son died by suicide. And I recall her asking me in the aftermath of the whole thing if we had talked about it on the air. And I looked at her and I said, it's not my story to tell. No, I have not talked about it. And I would never talk about it without your permission.
Right.
And she said, no, I'd like you to do that. And she gave me some ideas of how we could. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Right? The strength it took for her to do that. But like for my children, they've been through some very difficult things, some of them. And but I don't have permission to talk about it. What I can tell you is my journey is one where I'm moving towards gratefulness.
Yeah.
I know it's a place I'm supposed to be, but I'm not there yet. I'm on a journey where it's the acceptance of like, yeah, God is sovereign. I have to accept his providence in life. And he allows things to happen, And so you have to kind of go, what am I going to do with that? As Nancy Kane has told me, my spiritual formation, spiritual director, she says, pain is God's invitation for growth.
Right.
And you don't have to accept it. I think a lot of people walk around not having accepted an invitation to grow.
Wow. I don't even know how to respond to that. I'd say I'm at a spot where sometimes I'm willing to do the work and lean into the pain, but there's other things that I'll just walk right around and not want to touch.
Me too. I got it.
God'll direct me back to it eventually, I'm sure.
But it's to your point earlier, as your pastor taught, the Christian life is supposed to be one lived out where we are working together through those things. Because somebody who truly understands God's forgiveness is not going to judge you for your pain or your mistake or your sin. They're not going to even flinch when you tell them. They're going to guide you and help you become more Christ-like.
Right.
But it's very rare to find those circumstances.
It is. It is.
You're nodding, and you went to Moody Bible Institute.
Yes.
But do you think you found at least a circle of people where you can be totally transparent?
Yeah, I think so. A small group of people.
So many people don't have that, Lauren.
Judge me for it. They're just going to walk with me through it. And I'm going to do the same for them.
And I'd like to say you should go find that if you don't have it, but it's
not easy.
Not easy because you can't just go and spill your guts to somebody.
Yeah, it takes years of building trust.
But it also takes, here's where I struggle in friendship. Like if somebody reveals something to me, I struggle to reciprocate because there's shame sometimes in pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to almost tell yourself, you're going to have to tell this person this, you have to tell them this to build intimacy and relationship for accountability to grow.
Yeah, or even sometimes you have to go through something at the time that you're friends with them.
Sometimes you do, because then you can't hide it.
Right.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Thanks for sharing that, you guys.
Yeah.
Buckle up. The internet's about to break. Usher is about to pick up the phone and call his record label. We're so excited. Thanks to the generous donor who donated $2,000 to share. Ron shaved his head. There was like $5,000. I shaved my beard. fulfilling our final share obligation after Ron's news. The lovely Daria Swisher will sing and play guitar for you. I can't wait. I'm so excited. You're going to see it by texting live to 440-546-2255. Text live to 440-546-2255 to watch it happen or just listen in. It's coming up.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
The Department of Justice is suing Apple for alleged antitrust law violations. It's 7:04. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. The DOJ, along with 16 states and district attorneys general, claim Apple has monopolized the smartphone market by blocking competitors from accessing hardware and software features of the iPhone. Apple pushed back in a statement claiming the lawsuit is wrong on the facts and the law. Police in Mansfield have arrested a juvenile for allegedly making threats against a school. Administrators said they had received 2 emailed threats that indicated someone would shoot up Mansfield City Middle School. The threats reportedly came through a student email account, and investigators, school staff, and administration were led to a suspect. Cleveland City Council has granted $9.9 million to the Cuyahoga Land Bank. The money from the American Rescue Plan Act will go toward renovation and new construction of homes in the city's historically underserved communities. I'll be right back with sports and weather.
Children grow up so quickly, so it's important to intentionally engage them in God's Word. If you're using the Today in the Word devotional, you need to know that we also provide family studies. This month's family study is Jesus Shows Us a Better Way, taken from the book of Hebrews. The Today in the Word devotional and the family study are free. Download the free Today in the Word app or get a daily email in your inbox. Sign up at todayintheword.com.
In sports, a major upset highlighted day 1 of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Number 3 Kentucky was stunned by 14th seed Oakland 80-76 in the South region. Here is your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Mostly cloudy today. There's a chance of rain showers this afternoon. A little bit warmer with our highs in the mid-40s. At last check, it was cloudy and 27 degrees in Cleveland. Akron and Canton, clear skies, 22 degrees. Lorain and Elyria, cloudy and 27.
It's time for your moron moment.
Think the photo you found online of Joe Biden and Donald Trump hugging it out is AI generated? Find out for sure with free tools like AI or Not and Maybe's AI Art Detector. Just drag and drop, upload, or paste an image URL into their search bar, and they'll tell you if it's legit or not. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 7:06 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
This is why you have to protect your marriage, because people can be that bold.
He's kept the principles the same without changing to what today's economy looks like.
When you actually help someone, you see the difference that you've made in their life.
What's going on online is at least a small indication of the heart of the culture.
$7:10, WCRF Mornings with Brian. Get on your live stream. She's got the guitar on and everything. I'm so excited. Again, Mornings with Brian, WCRF. Because of the generosity of folks like you, we hit 100% in our share campaign a couple of days ago. And many of you, we just started giving out some random challenges, and you loved it. And so,
Woohoo!
Jaime Buxton with us, that was her.
That was me. I have arrived. I mean, there's a part of me that probably shouldn't have any more sound bites because it went straight to my head.
Well, Ron shaved his head.
Yep.
I shaved my beard yesterday, and it happened. My kids looked at me, two of them, and said, "Stop."
Yeah, as if you could just grow it back.
Like I wish
Brian,
I could just.
Brian, honestly, it's already growing back. Like there's already some color there that wasn't there yesterday.
Wow, I'm very manly.
Stubble.
I've got a lot of stubble. Yeah.
Okay.
Here, wait. Can you hear it?
That's what you said, not me.
No, you can't hear it.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, it's not about you anymore. It's about Daria.
Yeah. So text live to 440-546-2255 if you want to see the live stream.
It's like
It's
I'm at a
worth
concert.
watching. I know, me too. We have like front row seats.
I know.
The lovely Daria Swisher, a $2,000 challenge. Someone took it, said, I'd love to hear her play her guitar and sing. And are we feeling good? We got everything coming through okay? Alan, our engineer, says good.
Is this coming through? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Doing goodness of God.
Let's do it.
I love you, Lord, though your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so
Our comments are popping off.
Yeah, they are.
Nancy said, beautiful Daria. Michelle said, my favorite song. Gary said, beautiful voice, praise and worship to our great God. Great job, Daria. Beautiful Daria.
Way to go, Daria.
Thank you. Yay!
Yay!
It's 7:16. Got to take a quick break to recover from the awesomeness. We'll continue here in just a minute.
For King and Country. Are you available the weekend of April 19th? Great, because we're thinking we'd like to send you to Nashville to meet 'em. Moody Radio will send you and a friend to a 3-day event at the Country Music Hall of Fame hosted by Joel and Luke Smallbone. Pre-release movie screening of Unsung Hero, private listening party, podcast recording, and more. Enter to win at moodyradio.org/unsung. No purchase necessary. Contest ends March 31st at midnight. moodyradio.org/unsung.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market, supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Kayla was in a panic when she called CareNet's pregnancy decision line. When she asked about her choices, we explained all of her options. Kayla said, "But I'm already at an abortion clinic. I'm in their bathroom." Our pregnancy decision line coach asked Kayla what she wanted to do. She said, "I want to leave." Kayla left the abortion clinic, and we connected her with one of CareNet's life-affirming pregnancy centers, where she could get free services and learn more about her pregnancy and her options. What you need to know is that the federal government is working on plans to fund a national abortion hotline using your tax dollars to refer women to abortion providers. The government's hotline won't tell women about all of their choices. It will be a referral line for one choice, abortion. We need you to join thousands of others who are pro-life and sign the CareNet Pledge to stand against the National Abortion Hotline. Sign the pledge now at care-net.org. That's care-net.org.
At home, he's the dad who Ubers his kids around town. At church, he's the drummer that plays a little too loud during worship. But here, he's the guy who asks all the questions you wouldn't. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
7:18. If you're just tuning in, you missed it. Daria Swisher performing live.
Amazing.
Thank you.
How do you feel, Daria?
I was shaking.
You did amazing, Daria.
Thank you. You guys are kind.
Jeff said, can we get one a week?
Oh, fun. Yeah, I mean,
$2,000 a week? Sure, Jeff.
Nice.
That's what that gift was for sure. Yeah, so thanks again to the donor who made that possible, and Daria for doing that. It is like, as silly as it sounds, I was nervous having my beard shaved on.
Oh, yeah.
On the thing yesterday. But if you want to see the performance, you can. If you missed it, maybe you're driving. Again, we have a live stream. A lot of people don't know about this. It's worth looking at. You can go back and watch the entire show. And Daria organizes it so it's so easy to fast forward through. You call them chapters, right? Is that what it would be?
Right.
You can go find it right away. It'll say, like, the lovely and talented Daria.
Well, she makes it about herself, so she'll probably
That's
just write
not what I'm going
Daria
to
sings.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Daria sings?
Yes.
Well, let's see if we can edit that.
Can we put the lovely and talented Daria sings?
Please.
Daria sings.
I'll type
lovely
it
and
for you.
talented. It's hard to write it about yourself, I suppose.
Daria, Chris said, thank you for this song, Daria. We had to put down our 19-year-old cat, Meechkin, yesterday, and our daughter's in the hospital, and I just really needed your personal singing of the song today. I know his goodness is running after me, and the Lord has been my best friend.
Thank you. That one's making me tear up.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And, I guess I haven't pondered the lyrics of that song too much, but his goodness is running after you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing that at my dad's church one time, and at like the final chorus, I just choked up. I love that song.
For somebody who hasn't pondered it so much, like why that song? What does it mean to you, Daria?
Things are not always good in my life, but God is always good.
Amen.
And it's just incredible the things that He's brought me through.
Yeah. And you have to look through it there. And in fact, I wasn't even planning to talk about that particular subject before the break. You know, the idea of being grateful for the difficult things in life. But if you don't view it with God's goodness in mind, I don't know how you can get through anything. It is one of those where I feel so terrible for people who aren't following Christ because what would be the point of suffering?
Yeah.
What would be the point of challenge and struggle, you know? So good. Thanks, Daria. Oh, no, it's just...
Thank you, guys.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
So awesome.
I was going to say, we peaked at 7:20.
But let's just quick, just for a gear shift. Hey, don't forget the eclipse. We've got another exciting, lovely, breathtaking thing taking place on April 8th. The moon will cover the sun. It's going to be amazing. It's called the eclipse. We have a big event at Hope Church in Brunswick. April 8th from 12 to 5 is the big party, but we'll be doing a live broadcast in the morning of the morning show and then during the eclipse in the afternoon. Text MOON to 440-546-2255.
Someone in the live stream did ask, what are the nighttime animals going to do? I don't know about like possums and raccoons, but we do know that the crickets come out.
Yeah.
They start making their little noises.
I get confused.
Yeah.
Well, raccoons will start looking for somebody's trash.
You guys, every
Your
morning
garbage can.
in the bathroom, I look out my window as I'm starting my day. I'm like washing my face, brushing my teeth. There's one raccoon. He has a very strict routine. I see him cross the street every day.
Really?
Yes. At the same corner, he just is crossing. He has his little routine.
It's healthy. Routines are healthy.
Yes, even for raccoons.
It must be one person that has the garbage out every day.
No.
Wonder where he's going.
He still's got to eat, even not on trash day.
All right, so, gosh, what am I supposed to do now? After
I know. What are we even going to talk about? Jeez.
But okay, how about this one? I've got a more controversial thing for us to discuss.
Okay. That tracks.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. We're not doing that yet. We're doing that later. Let's shift to the paying kids.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
You had all the feels, Jaime Buxton, about this.
But then you called me out, so.
Whoa!
Okay, putting it onto their. Did you spill?
Well, kind of.
He spilled stuff, but no actual, right?
Okay, so while you do that, basically, this mom was like, my kids, they are not, I think she might have said, I don't remember the article exactly, but they might have had like ADHD. They just have some trouble getting going, getting started for the day. And she was like, I'd give them mornings, I'd give them timers, and they just wouldn't get going.
Correct.
And so she got called into the principal's office because her kids were late all the time because she just couldn't get them out the door.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, we got to fix this. And so she started paying them. I think it was only up to like 20 cents or something. I don't think it was like tons of money, but per task, not chores, like to brush your teeth, to comb your hair, to take a shower. She started paying them to do all these things to get out the door, and she said it worked. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if it's 20 cents and not $20, I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. I am not a judge kind of a mom. I will be honest. I don't pay my kids to do anything, but I do take a lot of things away. And I do set them up for success, Brian.
I think it's so sweet. You love your boys.
I do love my boys, but...
And you want to make sure those teeth are brushed.
If you could see the color of my littlest teeth right now, you would know why I put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. You got to do what you got to do.
There's a difference between setting them up for success and paying them to do daily life tasks.
Yeah, in this case, it would be, she's giving them 50 cents to $1 for tasks that involve getting ready for school. So it's get dressed, brush your teeth, get your schoolwork together.
For me,
put your jacket on.
I calculated it'd be like $2.50 per day.
That's a lot.
Per kid, right?
Yes. Because if you're talking about morning tasks and evening tasks, like to get ready for the day and to get ready for bed.
And it worked.
I mean,
we're on to the math. $2.50 per day times 2 times 30.
But what is the cost of her sanity? So I think initially I will say, I was like, and I will be honest, that is not for me. Right.
Why not?
But
because of the money aspect of it? Too expensive?
Yeah, we're pretty poor. But, I mean, like I said, mom's got to do what moms have got to do. And there are different things. I mean, there are fights I'm having with this little one at my house. Number 4 he is a real piece of work, guys. He's a real piece of work. And I say things, and not like terrible things, don't go there, but like never in all my days did I have to say, I think I would say, if you don't get dressed, I'm going to make you wear jeans to school.
You said
to
that.
which he cries because he is my cool cat. I mean,
he wants to wear sweatpants.
Shorts. They have got to be athletic pants, and usually what he's fighting for is to wear leggings with shorts and some sort of jersey, and his fake gold chains.
Wow.
I don't know what planet he came from, but so like I get it. This is not for me. Paying my kids is not for me. But I do things that probably other mothers wouldn't do, like putting the toothpaste on the toothbrushes before I leave. So at least I can track that they pretended to brush their teeth.
Ah, good point.
You know, I don't know why they're not smart enough yet. Even the big one, I'll come home some days. I'm like, you didn't brush your teeth. What do you mean? I'm like, the toothpaste is still on the toothbrush. It's not brain surgery.
Oh, actually, maybe you're a genius for this.
You might actually be onto something.
Thank you. That's how it tracks.
Wow.
Now, sometimes is there still just a blob of toothpaste in the sink? Yes, there was no brushing, but it at least gets them in the right direction.
Yeah, how do you verify they've actually done it? Because kids, for whatever reason, they pick some things to lie about. You just go, why are you lying about that? The teeth brushing.
The teeth brushing, the putting on of deodorant. Because everyone in my house has to do it, even the little. He's had to do it for years. He's the stinkiest one of all. But my 10-year-old says, I don't like deodorant. I'm like, well, everybody else does. You need it. Put it on. I want you to have friends. I don't want you to be the smelly kid. So, I'm not paying them, but there are mornings where I'm like, just put your arms up. I'm just going to, let me hit it.
Lauren's taking notes, I think, primarily because she has 2 boys. So she's just get ready for grossness, essentially.
Not looking forward to that.
You had 2 sisters. You guys are all
I
like,
had 2
let's
sisters.
pick up.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's sweet.
Yeah.
I have one of my girls has a meltdown every couple of weeks because her brothers just can't seem to remember to flush the toilet.
Oh. Welcome to my world.
Can't seem to remember. It's a tough one. I don't know why. It's a tough one to remember, but it is. So you don't mind the idea. You just don't want to do it yourself.
Yeah, the paying is not for me, but the more I think about it, my initial reaction was a gasp and like, what is wrong with this lady? But I'm sure there are people rolling their eyes that I put toothpaste on the toothbrushes, even when I leave the house at 5 a.m. today. The toothbrush was already done. Because
you're so sweet.
And you know what else? Their computers were in their backpacks because I do that because I am the one who has to suffer the consequences. They don't come home and get their computers and take them to school. I have to go to the
that's
school.
Totally true. Although I feel like there's going to be a season in life where you're going to come a little teary-eyed going, I got a call from my daughter-in-law and she can't figure out why my son can't remember anything.
Listen, I am not probably making them the best husbands. They do.
Yes, you are. Don't say that. I'm only giving you a hard time.
It's true, though.
They'll figure, hey, I had to get it together in college without my mommy around. She made my lunch every day until a senior year of high school.
I do.
And if Sarah was here, she'd be like, Brian, and every summer when I was working in college, my mother made my lunch. Moms do things.
Yes.
They love their sons.
We love our boys, and I'm sure moms love their girls too. But yeah, there will be things.
One mom texted us to say ours earns the use of the Switch, like Nintendo Switch for listening. Yes, if you can't get them ready on time, then you won't keep up with this. Ha ha ha. But they're basically just saying they don't do money, but it's a carrot.
Oh, for sure.
You want to play your video game? You're going to have to do this.
Well, I take stuff away all the time. You got to do what you got to do.
Somebody else added the side note of allowance. They said their kids have been begging them for allowance. It's easily been 7 years begging for it. However, we do not officially throw them some money, or we do officially throw them some money here and there. It's never been a set amount. It's just when they need it.
Yeah.
Do you do allowance with your boys?
I don't. And I will say our pediatrician recommended it, and I thought it was great. And
pediatrician recommended?
She did. I thought that was
What
really...
did she get out of your wallet?
She was, I mean, I loved it.
I'm sure she's a nice lady, but
she's wonderful. She was like, it's good. You know, she did recommend it, but we didn't because we're poor. But
did she recommend any stocks to buy? Or?
No, it was just about.
I have so many thoughts about that.
Them.
I feel bad for your pediatrician now, but
stay in your lane, honestly.
Yeah, that's.
It's not about the body.
That's not about health or mental health. That's telling you how to parent.
I love our pediatrician.
If she's listening,
she's actually not our pediatrician anymore because our insurance changed. But
great.
I cried when we had to leave.
Yeah.
But
you didn't listen to her advice, that's for sure.
We didn't. But you know what? The other thing I want to say about this, because actually my husband and I just had a little confrontation this weekend about this, because he does not get fazed by much that the boys do. But when he does, he explodes.
Where
I'm
familiar.
just annoyed all along and take
it's
things
like
away.
Under the surface bubbling, and then
yes. And so, so Gideon, whoops, well, the little one is Gideon. He's the stinker of the family.
like literally stinks.
He literally stinks.
Oh.
He does a lot of
it's
things.
a hard age.
Yeah.
Just are all stinky at that age.
It was the morning where I threatened the jeans. Like there was just lots of things he was not wanting to wear. It was church and all of the things. And Sean was like, "That's it. You're not going to football. You're not going to baseball." And I was like,
"Let's settle down."
I'm like, I just looked at him. We're in the car on the way to church now, like every good Christian family fighting on the way to church,
yes.
right? Like,
that's exactly right.
And I was like, you can't take that away, right? Like we pay a lot of money for those sports, and like it really doesn't fit the crime. And he got so fine. You're not allowed to have your iPad all week. And I was like, and you're wearing jeans. But I was like, you can't take away all that over a fit about. It really was about that his Jordans were dirty and he wasn't going to wear dirty shoes to church. Like so.
Oh my goodness.
Fake Jordans, by the way. Fake Jordans.
Don't worry. No, I will add that my father-in-law one year, this is hilarious. He's kind of that same pattern as Sean.
Yeah.
The kids driving him nuts. We had 5 little kids living in Chicago. They're going crazy. They're in town for Christmas. Christmas is like 2 days away.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "That's it. If you guys don't stop it, we're canceling Christmas."
Oh, yeah.
Sarah was like, "Dad, we're not canceling
First of all,
Christmas."
they're not your kids.
Yeah, and second of all, like, you're going to cancel Christmas?
Yeah.
All the gifts here, taking them back? Is that what we're doing? Like,
I know.
no,
Well, that's
turn
what I was
that
like,
down a
Sean,
bit.
everything, we pay a lot of money for all these sports.
Yes.
Now he's not going to any practices and he's missing a game
So then
because
he's
he
gonna be home.
wouldn't wear the right shoes to church. Like, let's just reel it back a little bit.
We had a kid show up to church with no shoes at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just,
We've had
that's
those
not a battle
days.
I'm willing to fight.
Just
You don't want
getting-
to wear shoes?
yeah,
Fine.
Just getting in the car sometimes to go to church is a struggle enough. As long as you're wearing clothes, that's all I'm concerned about. 440-546-2255. It's break time, but we'll come back with more conversation on Follow-Up Friday. 440-546-2255.
Dr. Tony Evans says there's prayer and then there's prayer. What's the difference? We'll discover the answer as we turn to James 5:16 and spend 2 minutes with Tony.
The effective prayer of a righteous man can accomplish much. The word there means energized. Remember the Energizer Bunny? The energized prayer. So this is not, Lord, bless this food to my body. In fact, when we pray that prayer, we don't even care whether God is listening. We want to get to the food before it gets cold. The effective, focused, energized prayer can accomplish much. I remember some years ago, we had the daughter of one of our members dying of cancer. Things looked hopeless. Pastor Hawkins and I went to the hospital. We unbuttoned our jackets and took off our coat, and we got on the floor and said, "God, we need you to come down now and intervene in this situation." Why? Because this is a serious suffering, a serious sickness, and this is not regular business as usual. And through some supernatural means, things got turned in that girl's life and the cancer dissipated. Now that wasn't because we had something special. All we did was we went to God serious. That prayer can accomplish much, not a little bit, a whole lot.
Learn more principles that can get you aligned with God and His power. Check out Tony's CD series, Igniting Kingdom Prayer, available online at tonyevans.org. Then join us next time for 2 Minutes with Tony.
You can secure your master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from Moody Theological Seminary. Study at the Chicago or Plymouth, Michigan campuses. Be equipped as a servant leader who can transform your community. The graduating class of 2017 had a 100% job placement and a 100% pass rate on the National Counselor exam. You'll be equipped to meet the needs of others while you reflect the character of Christ. Get started today at moody.edu/counseling. That's moody.edu/counseling.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, I want to tiptoe towards a controversy, not through the tulips, Ron.
No.
They don't know
Rats.
that. No, they're all staring at me, Ron.
I know that song,
Yeah.
Brian.
You know it?
Come on, man.
How does that go again, Lauren?
I'm not singing it.
Daria?
First of all, that woman is a soprano or man or tenor or whatever he is.
Man.
It's
Okay.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. He's
I have no idea what you're talking about.
through the tulips.
First of all, I couldn't do that on a normal day, but not with this cold. Could I ever get that high?
Which, tiptoeing through tulips or singing that high?
Singing that high.
I bet you could tiptoe through tulips like anybody.
Yeah, I'm
Anybody
sure.
does
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Give it a try. Let's just tiptoe around
There's
here a
no
little
tulips
bit.
here.
Pretend.
No, thank you.
Okay. Nonetheless, it's a controversial issue. I found something pretty interesting. We all have some double standards in our lives, and some hypocrisy. But there's some that are quite sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And this came up this week in one text that I'm sure this person's not alone, because I've seen this before. We had Nathan Zion in, attorney Nathan Zion Esquire of Mulhall Zion LLC. And he deals with various legal issues. And one of the ones he was talked about this last time, he was talking about setting up a trust, a will and a trust. And a trust is how you can ultimately, as he described it, and this is the layman's description, but you can avoid probate court with your assets as they are distributed to your family.
Mm-hmm.
Even a will won't keep you from probate court. Essentially, trust is a ticket out of probate court, which can take 6 to 12 months to get through. I know my mom went through that with my grandmother. She was the wrong kind of joint account on her checking account, and my mom could not access her mother's remaining dollars in her, as an only child, in her checking account for 6 to 12 months.
These are really my nightmares. Yeah, because I am an only child. This is why I get so anxious about these subjects.
It has to be set up in advance.
Yes.
But something came up where Nathan and I agreed on an ethical problem. Here's what somebody wrote. Is it actually unethical to hide your assets to receive Medicare or other government programs when that person has worked hard to get their wealth and has paid more into those programs than your average household income? So here's what's behind the question. Here's what a lot of people will do in their lives. They'll be, let's just say, upper middle class or upper class. They have a lot of assets. And they know what happens is if they get very ill, medical care as you get old will liquidate your assets. You'll have, it will, because it's so expensive to have, for example, nursing care or assisted living.
Yeah.
You will very quickly see all your children's inheritance begin to disappear, or a significant chunk of it. Now, if you don't have a significant chunk of money in the bank, what happens is you go to a facility that accepts Medicaid. And so at state expense, your loved one gets care because they don't have assets.
Right.
And so what the individual says is, well, that's not fair. I have all this money. I shouldn't have to spend it if they don't have to. And so I'm going to hide my assets so that by the time I get to nursing care or assisted living, the government's going to pay for it. Because guess what? I paid a lot of taxes over the years. That's mine. Give me what's mine. Ron gave it a
Yeah. The whole premise that you start off with, hiding my assets, that should flip up at least a yellow flag, if not a red flag, that, oh, why are you hiding them if there's nothing unethical that you're doing? And Medicare is a kind of a safety net so that nobody drops too low. That's the concept, at least. That sometimes it doesn't work quite right. But for you to think it's everybody should have that as a base and then you have your extra is just selfish thinking. It's like everybody goes down to a certain point and then the Medicare will catch you. But if you've got more assets, then you're expected to take care of yourself.
Yeah, well, and the person I think would go, yeah, generally, but is it actually unethical to hide your assets, to move them around? Just maybe work within the law to shift them here and there. Maybe you could put some in the Caymans, some in a Swiss bank.
Yeah, I know a lot of people try to, when they realize they're getting to that point, the laws, I believe, are written so that like they'll look back for 5 years or something to make sure you didn't just like, okay, today I'm going to give all my kids a big chunk of money with the wink, wink, nod, nod that, you know, they'll take care of me or give it back. And the government is, you know, has caught on to the deceptiveness of man, and they check that out. So it's got to be given away much before then for you to be, what would you say, indigent enough to need their help?
Well, and here's where I have somewhat of a problem, well, a lot of different problems with this particular text, but they say, again, is it actually unethical to hide your assets to receive Medicare or other government programs when that person has worked hard to get their wealth and has paid more into those? Oh, so your implication is that the reason you're wealthy is because you worked hard, and all the people who need government assistance when they get old, well, they didn't work hard. Not as hard as you.
Apparently,
that's all kinds of rude.
Yeah. Apparently, UPS must be easier than whatever he's doing. Because I am not rich. I do not have a big bankroll stashed away. Some of that's my own problems, you know.
Like, it is not a Christian ethic to say, like in any stretch, help me here. Well, I have lots of money, because I worked hard. You're poor because you didn't work hard. Is there any Christian ethic in that?
Does your
No.
pastor work hard? A lot of pastors don't have a lot of money.
True.
They don't make a lot of money. Some pastors are bivocational.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go around saying your pastor doesn't work hard because he chose to give his life to ministry?
Well, that's different. I mean, he gets a tax break on housing anyway.
They still struggle. A friend of mine, they were at the poverty level for years because her dad was a pastor. That tax break doesn't amount to a ton when you got 3 kids and you can't afford daycare, so mom has to stay home even though they need a second income because dad makes hardly anything. And this is not an advocation for socialism, but one of the first things the church did was pull all their money together. And you don't see any squabbling about, well, I've worked harder and I've got this much, so I shouldn't have to pay in for these poor people so that we can all evangelize together and not have to worry about food.
Well, and actually, I believe it's Acts 5 or 6, the very first dispute in the church was about widows saying, wait a minute, you aren't caring for us equally. In fact, the accusation was from Greek widows that they thought the Hebrew widows were being favored.
Right.
And so what's fascinating is, as Chris Brooks taught at Walkworthy a number of years ago, the solution was the early church fathers got together and empowered the Greek people. They appointed Greek people over the distribution of food to the widows. So they empowered the oppressed group to be able to make sure that fairness was in case. There wasn't a, well, let's see who worked hardest, and the widows who work hardest are going to get more. No. And I know this has to strike a chord for you because somebody's probably thinking about, well, people are poor because they're not working hard. You ever hear that before at the city mission?
Almost every day. Almost every day. Yeah, no.
Well, because they're all scamming the system, right? And this is me again playing devil's advocate. I am not someone who believes this.
I know. Yeah, no, we get it all the time, especially on social media when we say, hey, do you know how hard it is to get housing right now, or how much a working mom needs to make to live above the poverty line. And people just say, well, then just get a job at a fast food restaurant. Yeah, well, then you judge her because her 4 kids are home alone because she's working 80 hours at said fast food restaurant to be able to maintain her family. So which is it? Either that you want them to be a good mom or you want them to have a job and be able to sustain themselves. It's so much more than hard workers get rich, right?
Yeah, no, it's really hard. I mean, our circumstances obviously not as extreme, but when we moved up here, we had a really hard time finding a place to live on a dual income with really good credit. No one, the market is just so insane. No one would rent to us. I can't imagine a single mom who maybe had to max out the credit cards for whatever reason, has kids, single income. It'd be really, really difficult.
Yeah, this kind of stuff frustrates me to no end.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing. Okay, so you want to sit on all your assets. I want to sound gentle. I'm sorry if I sound harsh. Somebody would want to sit on their assets, and I can understand the desire to want your children to inherit money. I get that, okay? Because I'd like that for my children. I think everybody would.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You don't have to wait till you die to do that.
Right.
Like, if you don't want to spend all of your money on medical care as you get old, okay. You'd like it to be government funded? Okay. Give it all away.
Yeah.
You can give $16,000 tax-free to anyone you want. You could go to all of you, let's say 6 kids. Each kid can get $16,000 this tax year, and nobody has any tax implications. You could give tax-free to your benefit, any nonprofit you'd like. You could liquidate your assets and live off Social Security by giving it all away. So you do have the choice to have the hard work you've done pay through the government, through taxes you paid, cover your care as you get older. And it's by liquidating your assets before you die. Otherwise, what you're saying is, I want to be able to sit on piles of money like Scrooge McDuck and make the government pay for it. I have a hard time not getting upset about this one.
Well, you can't take it with you. So why are you so upset that it's going to be spent on your medical care? Like, I understand the need the desire to pass it on to your kids, but who cares what happens to that money because you're not going to be around and know what's happening to it. Hopefully you're going to be in glory.
Yeah, and there's a passage in James that I remember the first time I read it, I couldn't believe it's in there. I was like, I feel like no one ever told me this is here. It's James 5. The NLT is my favorite translation. Look here, you rich people. Weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom you've cheated of their pay. The wages you held back cry out against you. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of the Lord of heaven's armies. I read that and I said, what? Wealth isn't bad, but clearly accumulating and letting it rot, bad. And treating poorly those who are in a more the laboring class of society. Nope, can't do that. 7:52, time for a quick break. Maybe I'm just nutty. My brain was shaved off with my beard. 440-546-2255. We'll continue chatting in just a minute.
If you're 65 or older, you know this. Seeing your healthcare costs go up and up is frustrating. And maybe you were just notified that your Medicare costs are increasing again, or you're just tired of the massive deductibles. Well, here's some good news. There's a program that can really help with this. It's MediShare 65 Plus. It's an affordable, reliable alternative. You can choose any Medicare provider. You get telehealth access anytime you need it. And MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. MediShare is a Christian healthcare community that aligns with your faith. People actually pray for you. They encourage you, and it's proven, too. It's been going strong for over 30 years now. So call now. You can get one low monthly price for up to 10 years. You're not stuck with increasing costs. You can do something about this today. Call MediShare 65 Plus. Find out how much you can save. Call 833-59-SHARE. That's 833-59-SHARE. 833-59-SHARE.
This is David Harms with the ministry India Partners, and I have walked through the red light districts of Mumbai, India numerous times, and trust me, it is dark. Young girls have no joy in their eyes because they feel they have no future, and they'll be stuck in the trade for the rest of their lives. But once they get into a safe house run by India Partners, well, just listen.
When you don't move the mountains, I'm leading you to move. When you don't calm the waters, I wish I could walk through.
That is God at work, which is why for the last year we've shared powerful stories of safety, rescue, and care happening through the India Partner Safe Houses. These girls are safe from harm, well cared for, and introduced to the transforming and healing love of Jesus. Learn more about the power of rescue and care in a safe house at indiapartners.org/Moody.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
7:54 WCRF. The more I follow Jesus, the thing he's been working on in my heart for a long time is softening my heart to the poor. I feel like there's just evidence all throughout Scripture that ought to be my heart as it conforms to Christ ought to have compassion and understanding towards the poor. And we've been chatting about a text we got earlier this week when we were talking about setting up trusts, how people regularly call attorneys and ask if there's ways to shuffle around assets so that they can take advantage of Medicaid while they're in assisted living or nursing care. So essentially, can I hide my assets? And the person texted in, is it actually unethical to hide your assets? Because Nathan Zion and I were like, yes. And they're like, well, wait a minute, though. I worked hard for this. I should get to use these government programs. I know Lauren has a good passage, and you have something for us too, Jamie?
Yeah, I have a friend who personally texted me, says, a lot of generalities being discussed. Assuming people with money think they work harder than people without is completely incorrect and unfair. One of the reasons I work hard is to give my children a head start advantage in life. Is that a sin?
Oh, it's good text.
Yeah, and then in following the law, he's still texting away. And following the law on what I can do with what I want with my money, I don't know if that's, quote, hiding. And I think that's two different things you said there, Brian. The text that we're discussing is different than giving away the $16,000 every year, and right, like that's different than so.
Now this stuff excites me. I love this stuff because this is where great discussion comes from. Let's break this down. Can you go to the first chunk?
Sure.
What did the person say at the very beginning? I want to address each of these. It's about wealth.
Well, first he did call us out, and I would agree. Saying that we're speaking in generalities, that people who make more money think they work harder than people. That's completely unfair. And it is. And we were speaking in generalities.
In that characterization, we were speaking in generalities because this is the hard thing about life and about live radio and a short amount of time to talk about things.
Right.
We have to talk in generalities a lot. I'd ask for, when we talk about things like this, to extend benefit of the doubt. Okay, because here's the deal. Wealth is certainly not a problem.
No.
I've talked before about there's a really beautiful picture among Christian wealthy individuals. I've interacted with some people of very high net worth who love Jesus. And many of them are burdened by their wealth and work very hard to be a good steward of it. In fact, Rick Warren's a great example. He's a reverse tither. Among the very wealthy, this is the thing, where they give away 90% of their income and only keep 10. It's incredible. But it's a thing among Christian wealthy. There's nothing wrong with wealth. But I think there's a lot of teaching about what we do with said wealth is where this comes in. And the idea that an individual who thinks it would not be unethical to hide your assets to take advantage of government programs, that's the individual I'm talking to.
Yeah.
That person has some heart issues to deal with.
Yeah.
So if that clarifies, I hope it does.
Yeah. Then the next thing he says is, one reason I work hard is to give my children a head start advantage in life. Is that a sin?
No.
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 No. Hiding your assets to take advantage of government programs is unethical. Wanting your children to inherit wealth, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, why not? In fact, I watched my grandmother model this. Well, back when I was a kid, the maximum gift was $10,000. She would give my brother and I $10,000 every Christmas to invest. And that made a huge difference for us. It enabled us to get a head start in life like no other.
Yeah.
So I don't know how else to answer that. Hiding your wealth to take government programs you don't qualify for is unethical.
Yeah. And so I think that's the difference here, because he says, and following the law on what I can do what I want with my money, I don't know how that's hiding. We're talking about people who are finding the outskirts of the law.
Well,
yes
and no. I would say if you are actively, as a follower of Christ, saying, how can I get away with as much as possible keeping my own money, your heart may be in the wrong place.
And this was about hiding money in trusts so that the government wouldn't see it.
Correct.
This is not about giving away money at whatever threshold it is. This was about hiding money in a trust so that the government wouldn't see it, so that they could get funds.
But now push back on me, right? Because what I'm trying to say here is like, yes, there are laws available, and there's nothing wrong with following the law as it exists. In fact, we're supposed to follow the law. But if you are trying to get to the very edges of tax law and of whatever the laws are we're talking about here in order to hoard as much wealth as possible, I think your heart may be in the wrong place as a follower of Christ.
Yeah, I think you can give money to your children, to your grandchildren, and I feel like your heart should be about being generous and sharing your wealth, and not, I'm just giving you this money so that I don't get found out by the government. You should be wanting to be generous with your money.
This is the point I'm trying to make, because remember the rich man who came up to Jesus. He's like, what do I have to do? And Jesus is like, follow the law. Oh, I follow all the laws. He said, great job. Now give away everything and give it to the poor. And the guy went away sad. This is the heart we're trying to talk about. Jesus looked right into his heart and saw his love for money and his accumulation of wealth. And he knew that's where his heart was. And his call to him was to give it all away.
So are you saying the issue is not necessarily with the action, but with the heart? Or is hiding quote unquote hiding, because there's no better term for it, your wealth bad regardless?
Yes, both. I think I'm saying both. I think far often in the Christian life, right? There are some absolutes the Lord sets in front of us. This is bad. This is a sin. This is a sin. This is a sin. But in many aspects of life, it becomes a heart issue. Which I think the best example is when there was a dispute in Corinth about meat sacrificed to idols. There was a group of Christians who were like, "Oh my goodness, you cannot eat Zeus burgers. That's a sin. They just sacrificed this animal."
Mm-hmm.
And other people were like, "What do you mean? It's just meat. Who cares?" And Paul's answer was, follow your conscience. Like, seek your heart.
Mm-hmm.
If in your heart you feel it's a sin, don't do it. You see? So, like, it's both, Daria. It's both. It's absolutely unethical to hide your wealth from the government in order to have public assistance for your old age. I don't know how anyone could possibly defend that position. But it is also for all of us, even for the poor. It would be a heart condition about what we do with our money.
Mm-hmm.
We must be good stewards of our money. And the heart of generosity is an attribute of a Christian.
Yeah.
Just generosity as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's of our time or our treasure. Yeah?
Yeah.
But maybe I'm crazy. 440-546-2255. We have to take a break for Ron's news. See, radio. If we could just shut it all down for a day and talk about this, I would, but we can't. We got to take a break. Well, we'll come back and continue chatting if you'd like to. 440-546-2255.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
The U.S. is calling for a ceasefire agreement and supports the two-state option in the Israel-Hamas war. It's 8:03. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. While speaking from Egypt, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken told reporters a proposal for a ceasefire with the release of hostages held by Hamas is on the table. He added that Hamas has responded to that deal and gaps in negotiations are narrowing. Former East Cleveland Police Chief Scott Gardner is being sentenced. Gardner previously pleaded guilty to a felony count of collecting and failing to remit after it was found that he failed to pay sales tax for his private security business. As part of the plea deal, 23 other finance-related charges were dropped. And a Cuyahoga County recycling center has agreed to pay up to $1.5 million regarding an illegal dump. Bill Bauman, the owner of Bauman's Recycling Center, signed a consent order which ends a 5-year-old legal battle with the state attorney general's office. I'll have sports and weather in just a moment.
You don't have to put your life on hold to get your degree from Moody Bible Institute. Moody offers flexible online classes that feature a unique ministry-focused education. Study the Bible and theology anytime, anywhere. You'll benefit from the world-respected faculty and a connection with classmates from around the globe. Invest in your future and get your bachelor's or master's degree from Moody Online. Learn more at moody.edu/online. That's moody.edu/online.
In sports, a major upset highlighted day one of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Number 3, Kentucky was stunned by 14th-seeded Oakland, 80-76 in the South region. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Mostly cloudy, a chance of rain showers this afternoon. Not as cool with highs in the mid-40s. And at last check, we had cloudy skies in the Cleveland area, 28 degrees now. Clear and 23 in Akron and Canton. Cloudy and 25 in Ashtabula.
It's time for your moron moment.
Think the photo you found online of Joe Biden and Donald Trump hugging it out is AI generated? Find out for sure with free tools like AI or Not and Maybe's AI art detector. Drag and drop upload, or paste an image URL into their search bar, and they'll tell you if it's legit. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:05 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
WCRF. It is 8:09. I keep forgetting to remind you who she is, that she's here. Jaime Buxton is here from City Mission. Yay!
Woohoo!
That was the actual you.
That was the
That was
actual
real.
live woohoo. Yep, that's me.
We can get a whole different variety of them, although they sound very similar when you do them.
Woohoo!
It's the same.
We're grateful that you're spending the morning with us.
Thank you.
On Fridays, we like to bring in friends of the program to spend the morning with us as we review the week's topics for a follow-up Friday. And you missed. An hour ago, the lovely Daria Swisher performed live on the air a song,
my goodness.
The Goodness of God. You can go back and watch it on our YouTube channel, Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, or just text the word live to 440-546-2255. It'll take you to the live stream. Before the break, it was getting spicy up in here, the kids say. Don't the kids say that, Daria?
You can say that if you want.
It was getting spicy up in here.
You
Up in
just
here?
said it.
Up in here.
Up in here. Did the kids like that?
Lauren just rolled her eyes big time at us.
You just said it, so who cares what anybody else thinks, Brian?
Oh, Daria. You're the best. Bless you, Lauren.
Bless you.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine. Okay. Before the break, we were chatting about a text we got as we were talking with attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire of Mulhall Zion LLC, about trusts, legal trusts where you put money to avoid probate court. And it's a good idea for people to do it, especially if you have accumulated some wealth. But he said regularly people call him in an effort to keep large chunks of assets and put them in places where the government can't get them, so that when they get to assisted living or nursing care, they can have Medicaid pay for all of their care and keep their wealth.
And I'd like to interject that I don't think there's anything wrong with asking an attorney about that.
Nothing wrong with asking.
Right. Find out what the legal options are. But once you find out, nope, you're not allowed to hide it. You can't bury it in a jar in the backyard and tell your kids it's by the X on the map. No, you gotta obey the law.
Yeah, because you can't do that. In fact, Medicaid searches 5 years back into your financial history to see if you've liquidated assets in order to avoid paying. Because the point of the program is to provide for those who can't pay for it themselves. It's the point of the program. Now, nursing care and assisted living care, very expensive, no doubt. I'm not a fan of how expensive it is, but I'm not in charge of that either. It all gets down to be a heart issue. We had someone text us that said, is it actually unethical to hide your assets to receive Medicaid or other government programs when that person has worked hard to get their wealth and has paid more into those programs than your average household income? And we just say that question, God bless the person who wrote it, is all kinds of wrong. Like lots of different kinds. Like hard work does not produce wealth in someone's life. It can, but hard work may keep you in poverty. It just depends on your life circumstances and God's providence and his sovereignty. But also, yes, it is unethical to hide your money. It is. And you can call an attorney and ask, and they'll tell you, no, you can't do that. Lauren, you had some passages of scripture you wanted to share.
Yes. Okay. 1 Timothy 6. It's at the end of the book. Teach those who are rich in this world not to be proud and not to trust in their money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. Tell them that they're to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those who need, always being ready to share with others. By doing this, they will be storing up their treasure as a good foundation for the future, so they may experience true life. And please do not mistake the future meaning your retirement. That means treasures in heaven.
So as you've been listening to this, I'm curious on your thoughts.
I think it's like we've talked about, a heart issue. I think it's okay to give your money away to your kids, to your grandkids as your life goes on. And that's exciting. You get a tax break, or that's exciting. You get whatever. It's a add-on. It's a benefit that our government gives us if we're giving away money and being generous, that it's not, you're not deducted points against or whatever. But I think your heart needs to be generous, and that you're giving because you want others to have what you have, not because you're trying to sneak around the system. You should be giving because you want to be generous, because you want to be helpful, not giving so that you can sneak around the system that's in place.
Yeah, and the only thing pushback's not the right word, but it would be, it's perfectly legal and it's ethical to find the very edges of what's allowed in order to keep as much as you possibly can. That's not illegal.
Right.
My only question for you is that where your heart ought to be as a follower of Christ? How can I keep as much as possible for me?
No.
Yeah, I don't think that is.
Our hearts are to be generous and to give.
And see, this is why I think Jesus did not say that wealth is sinful. It is not sinful. He said that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
And that's an important distinction. And I can't help but think of a guy I brought up before. He was in pharmaceutical sales, and him and I served on an elder board together many years ago. He was very wealthy. And it burdened him. I remember we had a distinct conversation where he was like, Brian, I want to be generous, and I don't, I'm burdened by the wealth. And so I'm thinking, I'm all big time. I'm like, well, why don't you pay off your house? He goes, did it. Why don't you make sure your kids have fully vested college funds? Did it. Pay off your cars. Done. Like, I kept going down the list of things that are financially responsible. He's done all of them. And he was still feeling this burden of, I don't want all this for me. That's the heart disposition we're called to. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's nice that we get a tax break or a little benefit or whatever when we are generous if we're wealthy. I surely don't have $16,000 or $18,000 to give. But for those who do, it's nice that they get, some little added benefits for that. But your heart should be to give, not to get benefits.
And then even, I would say, even for the wealthy, let's just say you had 2 children and one of them was really struggling with drug addiction. Your heart should guide you to not give them $16,000 because that might plunge them deeper into sin. The wealthy thing, or the wise biblical thing to do would be to withhold that from them. So this is the challenge of, as a follower of Christ, we have to do the uncomfortable thing, which is this. It's conform our lives to his desires, not our own. And it's a lifelong journey to do this, right? But we have to allow him into every aspect of our lives. And it's uncomfortable. And it's like every season of life I go through, there's a new area in which God is going, Brian, you don't look like me in this. It's uncomfortable and I don't like it, but it requires me to change.
Yeah, and just because something is allowed by our government and is lawful doesn't necessarily mean it's biblical.
Right. And you're actually kind of quoting a Bible verse. All things are lawful, not all things are beneficial.
Yeah, something like that.
Some paraphrase of that nature. And I just find it interesting I don't know, I don't think I'm right about everything, but this one's pretty easy for me.
Well, the Bible also doesn't give allowances to do things that are maybe sinful in other contexts if it will save you from hardship.
Yeah, the point is not to avoid hardship. In fact, the real challenge, it's because it's actually not about me. That's the other thing. Following Jesus is love God, love your neighbor, consider others more important than yourself.
Yeah.
Like if I'm focused on me really much at all, I'm getting it wrong. And yet I spend so much time feeling sorry for myself. Like yesterday, feeling sad about my beard being gone. Brian, stop it. 440-546-2255. I hate breaks, but I have to take them.
Pastors have to make tons of decisions, including what to do to meet healthcare needs for themselves and their staff. Christian Healthcare Ministries specializes in making healthcare decisions easy and affordable. Not insurance, but a health cost sharing ministry for over 40 years. CHM opens the door for individuals, families, and yes, pastors to be a part of a biblical way to meet medical bills. Get more information and answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
Kayla was in a panic when she called CareNet's pregnancy decision line. When she asked about her choices, we explained all of her options. Kayla said, "But I'm already at an abortion clinic. I'm in their bathroom." Our pregnancy decision line coach asked Kayla what she wanted to do. She said, "I want to leave." Kayla left the abortion clinic and we connected her with one of CareNet's life-affirming pregnancy centers where she could get free services and learn more about her pregnancy and her options. What you need to know is that the federal government is working on plans to fund a national abortion hotline using your tax dollars to refer women to abortion providers. The government's hotline won't tell women about all of their choices. It will be a referral line for one choice, abortion. We need you to join thousands of others who are pro-life and sign the CareNet Pledge to stand against the National Abortion Hotline. Sign the pledge now at care-net.org. That's care-net.org.
Helping you take the next step in your walk with Jesus. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
820 WCRF Mornings with Brian. Don't forget the live stream is there. You can go back and listen to Daria sing. She was fantastic. Singing the goodness of God. People loved it. The comments are there. Keep them rolling to encourage our good friend. We're so grateful you're part of our team, sister.
Oh, thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
I was just thinking today, and we'll get back to your topic, but just how the Lord does things and brings teams together. Like, I could not have written the script for Lauren. Who are you, Ron?
Pointed at me and said Lauren, and then fumbled with Ron's name.
You take the beard off. And
You
things get
really
crazy.
love these people, eh?
Who are you? Oh, yeah, you're great. But no, but seriously, Ron, like you and I had a season where Kelly was helping us out, but it was you and me. I didn't know what the Lord was going to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't have written a script to get, like, if I could make the ideal team to put together, I couldn't have written a script for Lauren and Daria.
Right. And one's in Chicago, one's in Florida. So who would have thought that they'd be here? But God knew.
Yeah, he did. And Jamie's great too.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh, wait, it's not all about me. Still working on that, Lord.
Brian called me thrice to take this job. And the first time I said no.
Well, I
don't think I've heard this story.
you reach in life is what you do. Why not try to get the best person you know to come and take a job? And if Sarah were here, she would have to take credit for it because
it was Sarah.
You were not in a life place where you, because we needed somebody soon, and I forgot about the internet. You're like, Brian, we're not in a season where we can move right now.
Up and move, yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, that
Bummer.
stinks.
Exactly. That's basically what he said.
I walk upstairs. I had my little studio in the basement. Walked upstairs. Sarah's like, my dreams are dashed. Lauren can't come and work here. They can't move right now. She's like, Brian, it's 2023. What year was it? 2023.
22.
Like, I work remotely, Brian.
December 22, yeah.
If I can work remotely, can't she? It's like, oh, yes, she could. And I ran back downstairs and I called you back.
I was going to say, how close were those two phone calls?
Oh, like 10 minutes apart.
I called you right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice that you said you called. You always say you're not a cold caller, but look,
Brian loves
you're
a
an
phone
old
call.
man.
Brian loves a phone call.
I cold call
me constantly. Constantly.
I do.
Yeah, he called me once because I'd heard Janelle was leaving. I was a fan of the show. I was like, oh, Brian, I'm sorry she's leaving.
Yeah.
And so I just called him like, oh, I'm sorry. That's like really hard. What's your plans? What are you guys going to do? And he just like telling me. And then at the end, he's like, well, why didn't you take the job? And I was like, Brian, no. And he's like, well, come on, just think about it. I said, okay, give me 2 weeks. I'm literally moving today. Give me 2 weeks.
You were
He's like,
literally
okay.
moving that day.
Yeah, and then called him back 2 weeks later. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. And that's when that all happened. And he's like, okay.
And then I had been teasing our boss that I had somebody that I thought might take the job, but I couldn't say it, because I have a hard time with secrets. I'm the guy that like gets so excited about things that, it's good news, not like bad secrets, like good things. I remember where I was outside of the mall, Eastwood Mall in Niles. I just left the mall and I was in my car and I called our station manager to be like, you're never going to guess who's open to the job.
Yeah, he'd done all this on the sneaks.
And he's like, I can't. He made some guesses. They were terrible. And I said, Lauren Cuevas. And he was silent. And he goes, no. He's like,
yes.
No. It's like, yes. He's like, why would she want to do that?
He didn't believe me at first, did he?
No, he was like, why would she want to? I thought she was happy over there. And I told him the whole story. He's like, oh my goodness. That's what I'm saying. And then
he called me, and then they still made me do an interview.
And then you and I did interviews, and none of them for Daria's job.
Yep.
And it just nothing was working right. Josh
Not
redid
a good situation.
He redid the job description like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that, like being around and you being like, oh, we just can't find someone.
Yeah.
There's not a good fit.
Because we need the right fit for this type of ministry. Yeah. And then, amazing Daria showed up, thought she butchered the interview, and it was the best one we experienced. So.
On my end, it was a real comedy of errors. For my first interview with Josh, there was an issue with the meeting link they had sent me. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm supposed to call. I don't have a phone number. I went online. I'm like, hey, I think this is the right place. And I called and I asked I butchered his name. I think I said Jose Villa.
Josu.
I don't know what I said. He's like, yeah, it's me. And we did the interview over the phone. And then
he was so impressed.
A couple weeks later, with Brian and Lauren, I remember getting off the call. I turned to my husband and I said, well, that didn't go well.
We got off the call like, she's the best.
Yeah, it's like, it's over.
We called Josh immediately. She's the best.
Well, and like, I remember Josh was actually most impressed that you found his direct dial number.
Yes.
Most people,
don't
if
know
they-
what I did.
if there's a break in like the Zoom thing for an interview, they just kind of go, well, I guess they'll call me back. Within 60 seconds, you called his phone, and he was like, hello? Like, no one calls the phone. Hello? You're like, hi, it's me, Daria. And he was like, this is it. Someone this resourceful.
Yeah.
It's over. So, I don't know. I'm just so grateful for you, too.
Aw.
You're so much fun. Go watch Daria display even more talent than you realized she had. Go to our live stream. All right. Well, that was not what I planned on doing.
I was going to say, where are we talking about when we became friends? I'm just kidding.
Okay. You want that? Sure. You guys don't know this one. Here you go.
I don't even know what you're going to say.
We have our Pause for Prayer ministry.
Which, by the way, I have no idea how I got holy enough to even be asked to be a part of. But Cindy Farini said, can I come talk to you? And I was like, yeah.
And recording 5 different 3-minute or 2-minute prayers is actually, it's quite a bit of work. If you've never done it, to say something like intelligently without stumbling, it's very difficult to do, right?
Woohoo!
And so I recall I had never met you before. I met you right outside the studio door, and it was, oh, hi, Jaime Buxton City. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Brian. Great, thanks. I walk into my office. I knew you were going in to record. I feel like I sat down, and you were like, see ya, just finished. Like it was,
true story.
It felt like that. You went in and out so fast. I was like, who was that? No one does that.
Oh, no. I recorded something for Brian this past weekend. It was pretty rough.
I had to have you redo it.
I did
too.
like 6 cuts. Yeah. Yeah.
Bam. And I knew there was something about you that was different. And I was right. And good
go.
different, by the way.
Well,
Because when I
or
first,
not.
I don't know if I told you this, Sarah had her makeup done when we were engaged. a test run of the
Yeah.
makeup. She didn't wear much makeup usually. Comes to the front door. Huh? What do you think? I didn't want to lie because I didn't like it very much.
No.
So I looked at her and I said, it's different.
That's
Nope.
I said it with a positive twist.
No.
It's different.
That's horrible.
It's different. I mean, it's not how you normally do it. I can't say it looks terrible. I can't do that.
No.
You basically did. So
my mom has an aunt, or had an aunt, who used to say, well, isn't that different? And she said it about everything, like from the color of your shirt to what you made to eat. Like that was her go-to. Like
when she doesn't like it.
Well, I don't
it's
even know.
different.
I think she meant it as a compliment some of the time, but you were just like, oh, that's different.
Well, I went and checked that off the list of things to say to your wife. That's, we will not say that. I learned the hard way.
Good.
good.
So you were
It's the
good
best.
different, by the way.
Uh-huh.
440-546-2255. We were chatting about a really interesting comment we got about somebody asking if it's unethical to hide your assets in order to get, the government to pay for medical care. I mean, the question, if someone would reread the question, I just feel like it would answer it itself. Hide.
Right.
Wrong. Hide money to get benefits you don't qualify for. Wrong. But I will say there was an interesting comment we didn't get to that brings up a point I think is accurate. Can you read it for us, Lauren?
Yeah, is people shouldn't have to work all their lives just to give it to a nursing home.
Totally agree. Nursing care, out of control.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Now, Ron, see, you had, I think your family cared for your grandmother, right? As she was getting older?
Yeah. My mom's mom stayed with us for a while in her last days. My dad's dad stayed with them for a long time before he passed.
Was that a financial decision or just this is what we do in our family kind of thing?
I think this is what we do.
And a lot of families are like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Grandpa had some money.
Yeah. I wish I had the number at the tip of my tongue, but I've heard the number, the monthly cost of assisted living, and it's jaw-dropping outrageous.
Yeah.
So does that seem to be a problem? Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Yes.
But I don't know what I would do about that.
Yeah, I'm not denying that there's an issue with the system, but I think there also might be an issue with our culture. And I understand some elderly relatives experience special needs where the family needs a professional to help take care of. There's one in my family, and she's actually much happier in a nursing home, so I understand that. But I don't think a nursing home should be our first line of defense when mom or grandma gets too old to care for herself. And I'm not saying that's the case for all families, but I think that's the case for a lot of families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did that for my grandmother. She needed help getting up and getting going, and she needed help getting shut down for the night. And so, we paid, well, she paid for that, but we helped arranged it. Here's the thing, though. There have always been solutions to problems like this, but it's not necessarily a comfortable one, right? Mm-hmm. When people were dying in the streets with no one to help them, Christians came up with hospitals. Mm-hmm. And they were not charging lots of money for them. Nobody's stopping churches and Christians from subsidizing and funding faith-based nursing care.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, no one is stopping anyone from doing that. And there's certainly enough wealth among Christians in America to do those kind of things.
And we're called as Christians to care for the least of these. And I would say elderly people who are not able to care for themselves count towards that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's very clear in the book of Acts that widows were cared for by the church, 100%.
Yes.
Because remember, in that particular environment in history, a woman without a husband had nothing. Nothing. Destitute. Mm-hmm. And if you're in old age, you're not going to get remarried. And so literally the church covered all of her expenses and cared for her, whether she was, able-bodied or not at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, and this is the challenge, like if all of us in the church then shifted our thinking to my money isn't, like, how can I hide my money? Mm-hmm. Like, it really wouldn't be hard for us to do things like that, create nursing care of that type. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, Christians could also advocate for healthcare reform. Mm-hmm. But the healthcare reform also can't be, this is the uncomfortable thing, it's going to cost money.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to cost tax dollars.
Yeah.
So we have a challenge when someone who's following Jesus wants systems to be reformed but does not want their taxes to increase. I don't know what to, and I know socialism's scary. I don't like socialism as much as the next guy, but pure capitalism is just as terrible. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's all hard and it's all bad. So how about Jesus just comes back?
Yeah.
Amen.
How about Jesus just comes back?
Hey, Jesus, it's time.
But here's what we can't do. We can't say, it's terrible that you have to work hard all your life just to have it be so expensive for nursing care. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hide assets from the government so I can take the government money. Like, that's two wrongs don't make a right. What is this? This is not Machiavellian here, ends justify the means. No. We don't get to do something wrong because something wrong was done to us. That's not Christian ethics. 8:33, time for a break.
Welcome to Bible Q&A with John MacArthur. This is Denny Nugent with today's question. It comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 11, where Paul tells women in the church to wear coverings on their heads. Now, John, certainly at first glance, it seems like a command that doesn't have much relevance today, but what's it really getting at? Anything believers should apply today?
Yeah, that's a very important question because people ask it a lot, especially with the feminist agenda raining down on all of us. What is the relationship of women to men in the church in leadership? If you take that passage in its fullness, it has many nuances. And in the commentary that I wrote on 1 Corinthians, I deal with all of them. But for a simple answer, what does it mean that women in the church are to keep their heads covered? Obviously, in the Corinthian culture, submission of a woman was demonstrated by her head covering. In other words, women covered their heads as a sign of their submission. It was an outward symbol. We have outward symbols today. Women wear dresses, men don't in our culture. So that's one of the symbols. For a man to cover his head then would be to reverse the order. For a woman to uncover her head in that culture would be to declare her rebellion. So the apostle is simply saying, whatever the culture determines are the symbols of a woman's submission, stay within those symbols because you're demonstrating the submission. Because the submission itself is not cultural, it's divine. It's on God's creative order that the principle of male headship and female submission operate. So don't do anything outwardly to show a rebellious heart against God's order.
We appreciate you listening today to Bible Q&A with John MacArthur. If you'd like more in-depth teaching from 1 Corinthians, just visit MacArthurCommentaries.com.
Did you know the average person walks nearly 2,000 miles a year? Now think about the millions of children around the world who risk disease and miss out on opportunities simply because they walk those 2,000 miles without a decent pair of shoes. For the past 25 years, Buckner Shoes for Orphan Souls has provided more than 5 million pairs of shoes to kids in some of the most vulnerable communities in the world. That's over 5 million opportunities to put a smile on the face of a child and show God's love to boys and girls living in desperate situations. Many times, those shoes introduce families to Christ-centered programs, helping them rise above poverty and achieve their God-given potential. I'm Rob West, inviting you to provide shoes and share the love of Christ with children around the world and here in the United States. Find out how you can make an impact at giveshoestoday.org. That's giveshoestoday.org.
Keeping your eyes on Jesus in a changing culture can be difficult. Let us help. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
8:36, Jaime Buxton in studio from City Mission. Love having you here, Jamie.
Love being here.
Don't forget, we have our big eclipse day. You know it's coming.
So soon.
It's coming up. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, we're almost done with March. It's the
Wow.
first Monday of April. Yes.
Yeah, April 8th. Uh-huh.
April 8th, we're going to be broadcasting the morning show live from Hope Church in Brunswick. Then they have a big event. It's called Glory in the Skies, a total solar eclipse event. And it's from 12 to 5. They have food trucks, and they have all this amazing stuff happening. If you want to know more, I have a keyword for you. But we're going to do a live broadcast during the hour of the eclipse. Chris Fabry is graciously, he knows about it, and he's like, yeah, do your thing, guys. We're going to be preempting. Yeah, and we're going to do the whole thing. You can listen into WCRF in the midst of the eclipse to be able to hear about how it points to the Lord. Text the word moon to 440-546-2255. Text moon 440-546-2255.
Or just join us there. Come see us.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Our families are going to be there. You can hang out with our families. So, are you a trad wife, Jaime Buxton?
I have no idea.
So, okay. I kind of figured this because you and I are very similar in age, although you're probably much younger. I don't know. Much younger.
How old are you, Brian? Like 25?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm getting used to it.
I just winked at the camera.
You've winked at the camera at least 3 times this morning.
That's what the people want.
What people are you talking to?
What people?
I don't know. I mean, I can only see myself in here, and I like it. Now, that one was more like I had something in my eye. But we're of a similar age, I think. Yeah?
Yes.
I won't say it out loud. So we're not as connected to all the trends that are happening.
Correct.
Daria, this is a very Gen Z thing. So can you explain the trad wife movement to her?
So they've kind of cherry-picked their favorite bits of feministic culture from throughout history, and so they're very, it's kind of 50s-ish, but they stay home, and they usually have large families, and they make bread, and they wear long, flowy dresses, and the
curlers.
Yeah, pin curls. It's,
Aprons, making sourdough.
Yeah.
Feeding their starters.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a caption on a viral trad wife post on Instagram that said, "Ladies who know how to whip up a delicious meal for unexpected guests." It's also about going to church, having big families, and loving your husband and singing his praises in front of others. And what we chatted about as a team was, we think this is a very similar type of reaction to what you see where men in the church think manhood. Well, since society is blurring the lines of gender, here's what we're going to do. Men lift weights, climb mountains, and sleep on the dirt. Yeah, and they're mean, kind of.
Yeah. Rugged.
Gruff.
Very rugged and gruff, yeah. In fact, if they're a little, if your face has some dirt on it.
It's for the best.
Very much for the best. So I think this is the female side of the reaction to this, to blurring gender lines in society, which makes femininity, I think, the bigger question. We had a great discussion about what does it mean to be a follower of Jesus as a woman and be feminine. Do you even know how you would answer that?
No, I was waiting for Lauren to chime in right there. I was like, what are you going to say right now, Lauren?
Well, I don't think either of you could answer it.
It means to look like Jesus. That's what it means.
But there's got to be something very I mean, I don't want to start talking anatomy
Go
here,
ahead.
but make sure everybody knows you're a woman, Lauren.
Okay.
But not too much, because then
Then you're tempting.
causing people to stumble.
Can't wear my shorts.
I trap. I trap.
Be a woman, but don't wear your shorts so we don't know that you're a woman. Or else.
And you're not a big makeup person.
No.
Maybe you should wear more makeup to be feminine.
Are you going to wash my face?
I was going to say, she's going to punch you right now.
I would prefer not to. Here's what one person texted in. Interesting topic. I think this arbitrary definition of femininity is actually reason for gender confusion. These are culture choices. Biblically, there needs to be a difference, but these are very deeply personal. To evaluate those choices as good or bad is outside of the boundaries of Scripture, and then we get in trouble. I feel like as a church, we're pining for a box. Like, if you are a man, this is what you look like and you act like. If you're a woman, this is what you look like and act like. And we need that because culture. Because culture is like there's 72 genders, I think I found.
Yeah.
Right now is 72 genders.
Right.
So.
And it differs based upon where you are and what culture you are.
And what time period as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So then, Jamie, do you feel lost about being feminine in any sense? Or have you never even thought about it?
I don't think that I've thought that much about it. But when you said we're searching for a box, I mean, gosh, isn't that... In my mind, I immediately said, isn't that what the world tells us? But no, the world is actually telling us different than that now. I feel like that's changed drastically over my lifespan, my short lifespan.
Very, very short.
But I feel like you're right. Us as Christians, we are searching for, just in the same way that we're searching for the ABC of sanctification and the, what is, I think quite frankly, it's what we were just talking about before the break. We just want to fill in the box and know that, have a quick answer.
Yeah. Am I doing it right? Good.
Yes. Good. Check. And that's so much more than that. The Christian walk is so much more than that. It's about our heart stance and how we worship and yeah. And so finding a box we're going to be looking for forever, but I think you're right. That's what Christians in general, we're looking for, the quick writing, not quick, because I don't want to say that generally, but we just want to know that we're doing the right thing. That's me. That's my love language. I want you to say, like little Trey, good job. You're doing the right thing. I want my boss to say that. I want my
Jamie,
husband to say that.
You are doing the right thing. Good job.
Thank you.
That's for you.
That is my love language. But I think in general, that's what we want, to just have the affirmation of this is the right thing. And we can't get it through our heads we find that through relationship with Jesus Christ, not with, yes, Lauren, that's a check for you. I can't check for Lauren. I can encourage her, but I can't tell her yes.
Well, yeah, and I would say the whole concept is wrong of the world is blurring lines of gender, so we need to show them what a woman is. I would say the premise is perhaps a bit flawed. Here's what I mean. I've got 3 women with me here. Your primary purpose in life is to give glory to God and become more like Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, the Bible's clear about 2 genders. But the most important thing is that we conform our lives to Christ. So whether you have short hair or long hair, whether you wear lots of makeup or don't, you are working hard to conform your life to Christ. And working hard is even a weird word or a weird phrase. How do you feel about what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think man and woman were created in the image of God. It doesn't have, this is what it means for a woman to be created in the image of God, and this is what it means for a man to be created in the image of God.
Now,
they both are.
But there are distinct roles in
Sure.
Scripture for men and women.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us are saying that's not the case. We ought to have that as part of our conforming our lives to Christ, right? And we're not supposed to, like the Bible talks about, I'm not supposed to be effeminate. Yeah?
Right.
You're looking at me funny.
Can you say that again?
Like, for example, the idea of a man being effeminate. There's scripture that talks about, and I'm questioning myself because of the way you're looking at me.
I just don't know what that is. I don't have it at the top
I'd have to go look it up.
And then you'd have to describe what effeminate is.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm trying to say is God's not looking for androgyny.
Oh, no, he created two
Yeah.
distinct sexes.
Yeah.
But if we're hyper-focusing on the differences, perhaps we're missing the point. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I think at the end of the day, both genders were created in the image of God. And that's who we are as people. We are beings created in the image of God, whether we are a man or a woman.
So then help somebody who's listening right now who is a new follower of Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to be a woman after God's heart,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to be feminine. What does she do? Who should she follow?
Follow Jesus first, obviously, but feminine is going to look different for every single woman. There's three of us in here. I think we are all, I would say, very comfortable in our femininity, but I think we express it in three distinct ways.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's okay.
Do you all three agree with that?
Yes.
Yes. And I find in my walk, because I do have a tendency to put my eyes on people who I look up to a lot and put people and say, "Ooh, I want to be like that." Or I'll even tend to assign it to my husband. I'll be like, "See that guy? Like a wonderful man, older man in the church. We want to be like, I want you to be like him, or I want to be like that married couple." And time after time, the Lord has taught me, not by, am I saying I've rejoiced in watching people fall, but like watching people, and you get to the point where you're watching them up close, whether they know it or not, and going, "Ooh, but not like that." Or not in that circumstance. And we have to keep our eyes on Jesus, because when I say that's the woman I want to be, inevitably, if I say it about Lauren, and she's awesome, she will inevitably mess up, and then I'll go, "Ooh, but I don't want to do it like that." And same with me. I want to be honest. If someone is thinking right now, "Oh, I want to be like Jaime Buxton," no, you don't. No, you don't. You know, I think we have to be really, really careful with that. And again, it goes back to those easy solutions. We're a microwave church situation, like people. We want the answer. We want it fast. And if she's walking right, then I want to walk like her. Well, I want you to walk like Jesus. And if you like something about me, then I hope it's the Jesus in me.
Yeah.
Period.
And I mean, in the book of Judges, the only female judge is Deborah. You think she's wearing acrylic nails? No, she's a warrior.
But I love some acrylic nails.
Exactly. Mhm. Exactly.
Well,
but that doesn't make
yeah.
her less of a woman because she's a warrior.
Right.
It just looks different for her.
Yes.
But it is noted that she is the only woman judge.
I always forget about her. I'm glad you brought her up.
I love her.
Well, and I liked Daria's comment earlier this week when we talked about this trad wife movement. She was careful to say it's not wrong to be a trad wife. Like,
Yeah.
if that's how you express your
Totally.
femininity, if you really like vacuuming in a big A dress, what is it? A what?
A-line.
A-line. And an A-line dress. Like, God bless you. You're not doing it wrong.
Exactly. That's what you like, but don't make it as if this is what everyone should be like. And
Right.
you're only a Christian woman if that's what you look like.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where we had somebody comment that they were grateful for the discussion because they are a new Christian and they're struggling to figure out because they see these messages and they're like, I don't want to be like that.
Me neither. That's not for me.
One of my favorite videos to come out of the trad wife trend is this woman. She's clearly well off. Gorgeous evening gown, and it's just like a regular Tuesday. She's got her son with her. She's in this clearly an elaborate house. You can see behind her, talking about how she wants to show her 1-year-old son what it looks like to present himself. And then a mom stitched herself. Hair's a mess. House is a mess. Clearly
Me.
middle or lower class. Just looking at it in shock with her child and just like, do you see this? They're both women in their own right.
Yes.
Yes.
Well said, Daria. It's 8:49. It's time for another quick break.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free. today.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
Moody Radio's thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
Attention all high school students and parents. We invite you to visit Moody's campus in the heart of downtown Chicago, in person or virtually. Experience life as a Moody student by scheduling an individual visit to campus with your family. We are excited to welcome you to learn more about whether Moody is right for you and your student. Meet with an admissions counselor and sit in on class in person or through Zoom. Schedule your campus visit today at moody.edu/experience Moody.
Pour another cup of coffee and settle in for engaging, Christ-centered conversations. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
8:51 WCRF. We got about 4.5 minutes till we get to our Friday song, Cleveland's own Jason Champion. And are you ready?
Woohoo!
That's how we like to finish the week. Was that live or was that recorded?
Live.
Do another one.
Woohoo!
It sounds the same every time. You're so consistent, Jaime Buxton.
Woohoo! Did it sound like that?
Yep, just like that. Now, before we move on from this, there's you have to go check out. Is it YouTube where Pastor Tanks was commenting, or
he's
Facebook?
on Facebook.
Yeah, there's great discussion that happens on our social media sites. A good friend of the show, Pastor Leonard Tanks,
Hi, Tanks.
is commenting on there as well. I love what he has to say. Go check it out. We can't possibly cover completely any topic. We just can't. One of our goals is to generate discussion in your life and generate the searching of the scriptures and to motivate you towards growing in holiness. But we know we can't possibly cover the whole thing. And know that, and we just ask that you extend benefit of the doubt as we lean down one direction. We're not saying, men put a dress on. Of course not. No, I don't think we should be doing that. There's certainly distinctions in gender.
Unless it's a kilt and you're Scottish.
Correct. Correct.
See, it's all cultural.
It really is. It really is cultural. But I have to tell you ladies, that I've had to think about this pretty deeply about, I don't want cultural stereotypes to influence my daughters. And
it's too late. I'm sorry to tell you.
Well, I know, but here's where my heart is in this. Like, I had to be very conscious about, I don't want my daughters to get caught up in the cultural trend of being a dad who praises her beauty only. Mm-hmm. Like, it's what I lean towards. Like, my heart would want to tell them every time they look really pretty, I'd want to tell them that. But then am I complimenting my daughters on their intelligence, on their decision-making, on their wisdom, on their courage, on their character, their Christ-like character? Mm-hmm. I had to be very intentional to do it, because I think the way our culture leans is to make my daughter an object. And it's a hard thing, but this is part of what I'm talking about. It's like, if I love Jesus, I should not just be complimenting my daughters about their beauty. I should be complimenting them about the character qualities that exemplify Christ as they display them. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. Do you find this with, are you praising your boys for their gentleness and their kindness? And
I think you're convicting me across the board right now, but
well, no one talks about it with boys. We talk about with girls a lot, because I think women were, for so many years, were only talked about their looks.
Right.
But I don't even know if we're doing it with men properly.
I have a problem, and I've noticed this problem. I have a 3.5-year-old son. Very cute. He's the best.
He is actually adorable.
He's very cute. A lot of times, I have been told, or people say it around him, "Oh, he's gonna be a heartbreaker. He's gonna be a ladies' man." Like, can you talk about how he's kind to other people, how he likes to share, how he's really great with puzzles, how he's, really nice to his friends at school, and that he has a gentle heart for people and for people's emotions? Why do we have to say this? First of all, that's weird to say of a 3-year-old.
I've
Okay.
said that kind of stuff before. And it's convicting, yeah. Uh-huh.
But it's the other side of when you just talk about a girl's looks.
Well, because the way the prophecy of Jesus even speaks about, there's only one description of how he would look in very general terms.
Mhm.
And it's like you'd pass right by him.
Yeah. He was nothing to be looked at.
I don't think we can imply anything with that. It's not ugly by any
Yeah.
means. But he wasn't like
Shockingly
he
beautiful.
wasn't a heartbreaker, as you would just describe it, right?
Yeah.
And so if we want our children to be like Jesus, really we ought to be focusing on when are they displaying character qualities that Christ displayed and that we're called to as Christians.
Mhm.
It's a real battle.
Yeah. It is.
And it shows how far we miss it when we think the best way to minister to Christian women or to represent Christianity is here's the dress you got to wear and the behavior you have to display. That has nothing to do with conforming to Christ. Like the whole trad wife movement, how much of that is other than bearing a child?
Yeah.
Is
How
there
much of
any
it
of
is
that?
biblical? Yeah.
It's not wrong. I wouldn't call it biblical, though.
Yeah, it's not wrong. I love for her that
It's
she
neutral.
gets to make sourdough bread. I wish I could.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I couldn't even try. It's too scary.
But
Too
those
scary.
but those qualities are not the point of womanhood.
No.
The point of womanhood is to conform your life to Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's so many areas of life where all of us need to work on. I need to work on this in my own life. And notice I didn't bring up how I compliment my sons. I only brought up my daughters. So much to think about. Thank you for this. We're almost done. Here's Cleveland's own Jason Champion.
Are you ready? It's almost time. Oh, he's coming back, y'all, like a thief in the night. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, now it may be morning, night or noon. I don't know, but it's gonna be soon. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? And when we all get to heaven, that's the day when we'll be shouting. Oh, that's the day when that we're gonna be so glad. Oh, we were ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? Listen, do you know him as your King, Lord and Savior of everything? Are you ready? 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 When we all get up to heaven, that's the day when we'll all be shouting, 'cause we'll be so glad, oh, so glad we were ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? I can't wait for that day. No more trouble, it's all gone away. I can't wait to see my Savior's face. Are you ready? Are you ready? Would your soul be lost if he came back today? Oh, got my bags all ready, 'cause I don't wanna be late. On that day, I just wanna be ready on that day. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. And oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, be ready. Oh, when it cracks the sky. Oh, will we meet in the great dark night? I like that.
That was Jason Champion, and Are You Ready? It's our Friday song. Jaime Buxton, thank you so much for taking time away from family and work to be here.
Absolutely.
And if someone wants to learn more about City Mission, where you are Czar of Fun, how can they do that?
thecitymission.org.
thecitymission.org. Yes, my friend.
We will not be here on Monday. We are on a rewind on Monday.
Yes.
Just
We've
after
been working all the Saturdays.
Share and Walkworthy. Yeah, we have some comp time we got to take.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that great? Sleep. Sarah was like, "Oh, good. You can get up with the kids on Monday." I was like, "Please, no."
No,
Please,
you
honey?
can.
You'll still
That's still
sleep in.
sleeping
It's still
in.
for you. That's still later.
Whoa, no support there.
Nope.
Ron, can I have a day off? Ron, please.
From here, yeah.
Can I sleep in, Ron?
No.
Ron!
You've got to love your wife as Christ loved the church and sacrificed himself for her.
Where's that bell?
There you go, calling me to conform my life to Jesus again. Thanks a lot, Ron. All right.